Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing today?
Good morning. Good morning.
Hope you guys are having a beautiful day today.
Yes, today, this live stream is going to be an open discussion. Okay. And I'm going to address the new YouTube of the new YouTube situation going on with Jen, Mark Thornton, Every Man Has a Story, his wife, and a couple other things. Okay. And you're only as weak as the comments and statements that are being put out there. So based on this, I'm going to address a few situations. And now that Paul Old Dog New Trick has went and addressed people, which he did, and that was a great live stream, and others have, then I will address her situation and give her some advice, being she's getting nothing but a lot of male expat advice going on. Okay. And let's see how I want to do this today. Let's see. So basically, everything out there is not Bible. All right. There's going to, as we've said before, possible, allegedly, and all these things. And the reason being is we've been receiving a lot of emails that have been coming in and messages in regards to things that have been going on in her life. If we posted stuff like that or talked about it, the things that are coming in about what's going on, that'd be something a little different. But we're not, because some of them seem far fetched. Could they be true? Could they not be true? Who's to say? I'd like to do another 3 live streams on that, but not today. And her life, marriage, and her son has all been put on her channel and Mark's channel. So she is what I would call a YouTube widow at this point, as far as being married to a man that also did YouTube. And now she continues to use YouTube. And now the death of her husband. I get it. And that should be discussed among a bunch of expats and their spouses and the whole thing, such as if something happens to me, I could pass on in 3 days from eating donuts. It could possibly happen. Yeah, we have our donuts. Thanks, George. So in that case, what? How many are in here?
I bought Heidi an 8 pack of donuts.
He got me more of the little donuts, actually, in honor of expediting me flying up out of here as an angel for little donuts.
I had to get them, guys. I had to get
Yeah,
them.
somebody says, why doesn't Heidi eat more donuts? You're right. I'm going to today. But in saying that, she lived her life on YouTube, and I'm going to address her taking over Mark's channel. Her and that, what is it? Fred and Wilma? What's her name? Fred and Wilma? Yeah, Yabba Dabba Doo, or is it? I don't know. Anyways, looks like they're getting a little bit of help. So, and so we are, or George is, believe it or not, his own person. I am not going to sit here and suck tailpipe of every vlogger in town just to sit around and say, hey, sorry about your luck and all that. We already did. We really mean that we wish her well and the baby. We never doubted that she's a good mother or that she was a good wife and she cleaned house like she did. We watched her first video this morning. Some of the stuff where she talked about she couldn't even afford a trike home from school when she met Mark. Okay. And so that she was really, really poor when she met Mark. That's fine. She met him online, all of that. How she met him and how she went all about that is for her. There's lessons to be learned all the way around on this, but we're just not going to sit here and say, we all don't share. We sure share some of the same viewers, but like I said before, people are going to go through our channel and some stuff they're going to watch, some things they're not. You guys will either watch or you won't situation. So she's saying she's taken on Mark's channel, and I want to address her and the family that he also has. He has 2 other children. Okay. So she is not the sole heir, okay, to everything until she gets her stuff through probate. And I imagine that will go through the United States, or she can file it here or whatever, but you just don't take over. There's rules. Okay. So I would suggest first off, you get an attorney. But those 88,000 people you call friends, okay, that are subscribers and how they were all loyal subscribers of Mark and all that, I would really, really take your next steps carefully. Okay, so I'm going to give some advice today to Jen before we get into the comments. Okay, whether she's hurt, whether she thinks that what we've said is made up lies. I didn't see any of them addressed in that video. And yes, I finally watched that video the other day. And Paul went and said, go look at her video. The only thing I heard was that Fred guy or Greg guy say a lot about how he was friends with them, how she was hurt by channels. Okay, if she wants to address me direct, then go ahead. You're already on YouTube, honey. Go ahead. Okay. But or the lies or whatever. Okay, so his paper was organized and he had Phil Health, and that's not full insurance. Having Phil Health is not a real insurance policy. It helps.
Pays 20%.
Right. It's a form of one, but I wouldn't call it.
It's not a life insurance, no.
Well, and it's not exactly the biggest plans. And we understand that, the bill's been paid. We didn't doubt that. I believe on both of those live streams, we said that it was paid. Both Mark and Jen both actually had YouTube channels, and they both, I would like to kindly use the word exploited each other. As far as he was always talking about how she was poor in the age gap relationship and, all this stuff and advice being given back and forth. And therefore, I don't feel like any of the sympathy part on that manner either. But what she's not is the full rightful heir. And neither is your son. Okay. Whether you're saying or he's saying or in paperwork, unless he cut his other two children out of the will, unless he there was nothing, as I'm to understand, there was still some sort of relationship with his ex-wife possibly. But either way, she wouldn't be the rightful heir, even if he wrote that all in there and all had it done. Don't the children still get an opportunity to say something?
Well, I was going to say, first off, she needs legal representation. Don't listen to your friends. Don't listen to us. But you have to at least get legal representation, period. Okay? This is something that needs to be done. It's not default that you get everything. That's not how it works, especially when you're in the Philippines. I get it. You're Filipina, and I get it that Mark's an expat, but
changes the whole thing.
Well, yeah, there's some dynamics that are changed, and legally, it's not default that everything's yours. In the U.S. and especially in the Philippines, it's not automatically yours. Or whoever, again, don't listen to your friends, don't listen to your family, listen to a lawyer. Yeah, and that's another thing. Now, if there's a will, then
and even if there is a will, I call crap on it, because you have to file that. So first you have to get the death certificate, hon. Okay. Then you have to go through a probate. Okay. That gives everybody an opportunity, including Mark's side of the family and his other children and his ex-wives, to have an opportunity at the items. Okay. You're listening to Expats, and I'm sure we'll have some sort of opinion on this. It's called probate. I've been through it several times with dead relatives, and you have to wait to touch anything. You have no right to sell those Beanie Babies.
Anything.
You can't, you can't do anything. And you already going in and signing with a password, or just going on his computer and using his channel to actually go in and ask for help, which you did. You and your Greg and Wilma, Fred and Wilma channel that's asking, that went in there and did that whole speech. Unfortunately, I guess there's an underbelly way of doing things, and there's an underside of doing everything. Let me give an example. Maybe it's some direct advice. If his brother wants to go and help you on that side in the United States and do this, and that, there are ways around the probate, I guess, just like you're doing. There's ways around it. You got into his account, You created a video and you asked his 88,000 friends for help. Okay.
Now there's again, can you do it? Yes, but could it have ramifications? Depends. It depends on, for example, Mark's kids if they decide to contest or contact YouTube, like, hey, that's my dad. I'm the rightful heir.
Yeah, there's a rightful heir with YouTube, and you have to submit the death certificate and legal document showing you are the one that won the full probate. When that happens, then you will get his YouTube money that was deposited up to that point. Okay, so all of that money, if it's being deposited in another bank in the US, there's no real way to touch that money. I don't think Bank of America, whoever it is, would just say, hey, here's the money and forward it on. Not quite sure on that, but usually when it's in the bank. It would take someone on that side to go get it out of there with a card. If you have access to his card, okay, and you're using a PIN number and you can get that money out, it would be, that would be another way you could do it, but there's always legal ramifications on this situation. Somebody had addressed, and we addressed our YouTube manager on this, the inactive Google manager thing that someone mentioned in the last live stream, I believe it was Expat PH Prepper. That's only to go in and say who controls the emails, who can request to have the account shut down. It doesn't give you legal rights.
She allowed to have them?
Yeah, she can, but she's that's okay. And that's if that makes if the account is inactive for 4 months or whatever time frame that Mark set, then they're just going to close the email, close that Google. The Google in turn would shut down the YouTube channel. So if the Google accounts are missing, then I believe that's how the channel would get shut down naturally when it's inactive. Also, when there's an inactive Gmail, and then that causes an inactive YouTube because someone's deceased, then usually the channels disappear. So in the case where someone's like, oh, well, there are some YouTubers that's been gone forever, that's because they gave them that stuff in the inactive account. A mother or a son or somebody is keeping that going. That's based on email, not based on name. So like George has me added to that. And if something happens, then I would have access to keep that going. But as far as to continue the channel in my name, that would be something different. A bunch of stuff has to be done. But first, you have to be the rightful owner at that point. And then at that point, being this is in his name as a business, let's talk about your business license, shall we?
Actually, yeah, that's what I was going to get at. First off, you can't just hijack the channel. That's not how it works. The best way, and Heidi used the exact words I was going to use, because actually this is in YouTube's words. YouTube is a business.
Yes.
So therefore, you need a business license, yada. Yes, I have all those, and I have the tax, whatever. I have everything. I have all the paperwork. You need paperwork to be legal. Second, since it's a business, you can't just hijack a business, can you? Can you go into the U.S. or even here in the Philippines, walk right in once the owner croaks off and then you operate? No. Eventually, if the cops find out, they're like, wait, you're operating without a license. You're not the guys. You're not,
And we'll address you guys afterwards.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, because it doesn't mean that you're
someone's already in there saying that he's married. That's all it took in the Philippines.
Well,
no, that's not an
That's
automatic.
what I'm saying. Even if you're the only rightful heir, even if you're the only rightful heir of a business, because again, YouTube is a business.
Right.
Everything still needs to be transferred to your name.
About 4 years ago, they mentioned anybody that's making that income online now needs to report, including expats that are living here. The taxes are not owed in the United States. It is owed here if you're a resident.
Right.
And most of those vloggers are residents. Therefore, if they're paying their one taxes for Social Security and other income for, say, being a teacher online, sure, go ahead and file in the U.S., but the income for that is supposed to be here. They've officially updated with Singapore tax information because that's where they're filtering the taxes now. But it's still here in the Philippines. You still need the business license. Now, whether Mark followed through and had all of that, then
that's a different story.
Then that's a whole nother level.
But even if he did, you're not Mark. So you need to go through the same process. Kind of like me. I went through the same process. If I croak, and even if I had a will saying Heidi this, Heidi that. You know what? She still has to get her own licensing.
Right. So
It
it's
doesn't mean you inherit the business. I mean, if I inherit a car, do I automatically get a license? No.
so
You know what I
here
mean?
we've talked about this on and off, and there's a little bit of information because I heard your little friend say something about we'll figure it out, but you didn't figure it out first, neither did he, before he had you go on air and say, hey, if you want to help her and blah blah blah, watch all the videos and she'll get the future money. None of that inactive manager really helps. Okay, you have to, yes, you can buy, sell, and inherit a channel 100%.
Correct.
Good for you. Congratulations, 88,000 people that will drop you some money. Really, 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 really happy for you. Okay. Then you have to keep the channel going. Any further income that you take out, you're going to have to file taxes. So, do you have a business license with the Philippines? You have your TIN number and all that. What you have to do is when you get all your business license, then you can go and switch over and you can go into Google AdSense. You have to go into that channel being you have legal access, looks like, and you have to change the AdSense out of there and add your AdSense.
Correct.
So if you've done all of that and that's way different than like if he's doing any advertisement, there's an ad, a Google ad, where if he was running any advertisements on his stuff, that's a whole different account that you may want to look into. But AdSense has to be switched to your AdSense. Did you have AdSense or was you only collecting the stuff as the Gcash and the PayPal, which, by the way, that's all tax money too in the Philippines. So if you're collecting a bunch of money through PayPal and you make 10,000 US dollars off this whole deal from all these friends, that's still something that has to be taxed. I hope your friends are telling you that also. Okay. So it can be done, but first you have to be the rightful heir. So I'm going to move on for the rightful heir because I'm sure a bunch of people are like, oh, that's not true. I pay my taxes. It doesn't make it legal. We've been at this game like we're like some of the original vloggers here, and we know people that are not following the rules. That's fine. Okay. But George has a business license for owning this channel, and there can only be one owner. Okay. Next, I'm going to address on that is the fact that I would suggest just raising your son. Stay away from YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. The fact you went on
Yes.
about how upset you were and all this, and that. If people contact you and say things, then you just don't listen. Okay. Because I'm going to keep covering this subject as far as something's out there. It's just where it actually is. Plus, it's some advice for you. Okay. Worry about raising your son because it looks like now, and I will update this. I think I said that she won't get a check. I digress on that situation that yes, she will get a check. You will get a check. You get a check for raising Mark's son. Congratulations. More tax money. Just and somebody tried to go on, well, it's not tax money. It is tax.
Yeah, Social Security.
It is a Social Security tax. And
It
it
is a
still
tax.
comes out from people that paid into it for future checks. I get it. He's due his money. I didn't know that, how that worked, that they pay the mothers as a babysitter, that's how she'll get around the system is you have to be 60 otherwise in order to collect if your spouse dies or like the military, there's a different thing. Because my sister didn't get the money. When her husband died in a horrible truck driving accident, she did not get a dime out of that. Her daughter got a check till she was 18 or finishes a certain grade level, which here it'll be sooner. So I don't get where this babysitting money comes up, but they say it does exist here. Or maybe it's something that's now that didn't used to be, but she never got a dime for helping raise her daughter too. So allegedly, supposedly, you'll get a check. So maybe you'll get around 1,000 a month. I suggest you take that money and go home, but we understand that you won't, and that the arrangements have been made from Mark that you'll be living with somebody. I suggest that you focus in on that. Again, you just should give up the channel. And so anything from there, you obviously
we
have
suggest
shut
stay
down.
away from YouTube. To be honest with you, I'm telling you right now.
And
That's for everybody. Stay away from YouTube. It's really not good for you, or your health, or your children.
not really. They were talking about there's a new term for women that'll be raising their children in front of the camera, and you guys are already doing that. It causes stress on the children. Then they see themselves later It puts a rise up in the, I can't say the word, children offing themselves. All this stuff happens in the future because of their entire lives being put 100% on air. So, Tony, you're not getting them Beanie Babies. I already went by and picked them up. She handed them over yesterday. So, sorry, Tony. But also, my last advice is find a Filipino your age. Find somebody that's within your culture, that knows your culture, that's possibly, you know, find somebody your own age would be really great advice. But you had an opinion when I mentioned that this morning that is probably already too late. There's a bunch of expats that are already surrounding her, not only helping but waiting in the wing for her. Which there's nothing wrong. Someone says, "What is it your business whether she remarries or not?" Oh, there's no doubt in my mind with that kid, the staring kid, that somebody will come through, but I wouldn't suggest another expat, and more than likely it's going to be an older expat. Okay, but what do you think about her sticking with the Filipino,
Well,
or is that racist of me,
no, no,
or
no, no.
racist
Actually,
any
it's
other?
not. It's not. Okay, this is from a Filipino. Okay.
Oh
I
dang, he said Filipinos won't touch her.
No, no, no. They will. They will.
Yeah,
They'll take her under their wing. She's not a bad looking girl. She's
there's
actually a
an
pretty girl.
there's
That's
another
not
George.
it.
There's another George out there.
The the problem is, okay, the American term is she's already jaded.
Ooh.
The problem is it's not that she can't find happiness with another Filipino, because you can, but money isn't everything.
Well,
Lifestyle isn't everything.
and she seemed to have said that. She was like, when 4 years ago, when she was telling about her life and everything, and how she like had no indoor toilet, a lot like Tim K's wife, Chrissy. Same situation. I don't know if Chrissy was found off of a dating site, like she admitted she came off of a dating site, which means she was making plans to find an expat, evidently. And I think her other sisters have married expats too. And that she wasn't exactly looking, well, I don't know. She said that it was, she was a very simple person. So um
Well,
didn't
but
need didn't need lotion because she doesn't like using it. Everything with her was simple. And man, I lost my chat.
but
I lost my
it's
chat.
kind of like this. It's kind of like
Oh man.
there if I mean, I hate to say this, if you're used to a certain lifestyle, it's hard to let go.
Well, she is at this point.
And most of the time, a lot of people, regardless of race, they will go, stick their head in a net bottleneck just because they want that lifestyle back. So, can she find happiness in another Filipino? Yes. But will she? No, because she's
Oh,
already.
and an expat. You just said in
No,
another
no, no.
Filipino.
That's what I said. In another Filipino, will
Oh,
can
gotcha,
she
gotcha. Sorry.
find happiness in another Filipino? Yes. But will she? No. Only because, again, she's got that image in her head that she has to be with a foreigner to get and maintain that lifestyle.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
get off of that.
And here I and that's another thing. I mean, by default at this stage, since people are setting her up, the people that they're setting her up with already know the ground rules, aka she has a kid, it's a foreigner kid, half kid. So they already at least half the battle as far as they
Oh,
already accepted that she has a half Filipino baby already. I mean, I'm not being mean, it's just reality.
the dirty old expats are circling like vultures. Hey, I might even circle her at this point if she's got a check coming in. I think she might be making more than you, babe.
Right. Um Hey, Joe Shabatani, thank you so much. I appreciate the donut fund.
Speaking of
Thank
which,
for $5. Yes,
uh,
for $5,
you're gonna.
please increase the size
I'm gonna tell you what.
of Heidi's donuts.
For every $5
Just
you
for
guys sent,
$5,
he's gonna shove one of those
we
in my
can we
mouth.
can
So
increase
go ahead and give me one
the
of those.
size.
Hey, we're gonna earn our money the old-fashioned way.
All right, $5. $5. Okay, here we go. This is for you, Joe. What are you doing? Okay, there. Oh my gosh, Heidi ate a whole donut in one gulp.
Right? I'm really that big. That was a full size.
Yeah, that was a full size donut, guys. It just looks kind
And
of
you guys are gonna hear
small
it. I'm gonna say
compared
yes.
in
I'm gonna take that.
comparison.
I'm gonna take that
Yeah.
because that'll be for George's funeral funds. I promise you, that's where the money from here is gonna go. Ain't gonna be for me. And another thing, I want to address you guys real quick. You guys got the right person. You got the right person today. Because I keep hearing, oh, you next, you next. The difference is I don't care if I'm next. I lived a damn good life. I have a good husband. I've raised my kids, got some godchildren. I'm ready to go today. I know how I am with my maker, which, by the way, I'm a Scientologist. So I already know my chemicals are all together and everything.
So, are you as ready as Mark? Is that what you're saying?
I'm sure that was a shock to
Is
Mark.
that what you're saying?
I think Mark thought he had some good years left. The difference between
Do you have a folder for me?
Do we? Honestly? Of course.
Yeah, no, there is. There's a folder.
I mean, down to the passwords
There's
and
a
everything,
folder.
which evidently
There's
he did
a
for
little
her.
blue book. Yes.
Organization was not a doubt in my mind based for whether he had that going or not. And then people are like, oh, financially she's taken care of. No, she's not. If she was financially already, she wouldn't be asking for Gcash and PayPal. A lot of people have said that. And I really wish we could release truthfully the emails that we've been receiving, because some really seem far-fetched. We have covered stories saying, hey, based on this and that, this is going on. If I had to guess 2 or 3 of the things that are being put to us, it could be a family member on that side of the pond over in the UK.
Yeah, keep in mind that, again, some of these emails are viable. So,
Well,
however, it doesn't mean that we get, somewhat reliable information that we release it. We don't. We are not like that.
oh, I'm a so the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round.
At least we save it till the next live.
George goes, we're going to ride this bus too until the wheels
Bobby
fall off.
G. All right, Bobby G. We have another donut. Here we go. Another donut.
Ask him what color.
No,
we can't.
Get a marshmallow strawberry donut.
I already ate 19 of them before the light.
Well, Bobby G gave you a donut, $5.
Full size donut.
Our full size donut, here it comes.
Show him the camera again.
Full size donut. Hold on.
What do they call this?
See? Full size donut. See how big it is? Yeah. See, now I'm gonna put it in Heidi's mouth. do the T-Rex claws. I know the sound. Jurassic Park.
Na,
na, na, na, na, na, na, na.
Okay. Tastes like a payday to me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna tell you what, we are gonna become the next shock jock YouTubers in the Philippines. All I'm saying is I'm ready, guys, because, well, I could have done without George this morning, but a little disappointed in the inflation on the peso. The peso was low this morning.
Okay. No, it's not. It's okay. I know a lot about economics, but I'm not gonna go deep into that. But anyway, there's something funny going on with the peso. But anyway.
So either way, you have to be ready. It doesn't matter. I'm not leaving behind a young child and a wife. They already planned this out, and I just know. I don't care what happens to that dog.
Oh, damn. Oh, sorry, Mary. Kick you to the curb, kid. Aww.
She's got a job. She's got a McDonald's job. She got a job yesterday.
Oh my gosh, she's not wearing her.
Well, you can put it on her later.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is just be about it. I mean, yes, we've covered where we've been upset about things and things have happened. Like, of course, I'm going to be devastated. Are you going to see me on YouTube? I don't even know how long she waited. 7 days, 8 days, 10 days. But the finances, I get it. I get, he had his channel. Maybe he told her to, but he leaves behind. He originally came here with some serious health issues and little to no money, and he made a big channel, made a name for himself, along with others that he actually brought for his interviews. But I'm not leaving behind a child. I am ready to go. I'm not promised tomorrow. Every night I go to bed, I don't say my prayers. Say a little
Heathen.
prayer. Heidi Heathen Mendoza.
I even sometimes I do tell her, like, you heathen, and she's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, yeah, you are.
Sounds like my mother's in the house. You heathen. Sounds like old Sanford saying, you heathen. Sanford and Son. Bum, 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 bum. So, but
Right.
no, it's true. That's the difference between, or there are other people out there that feel the same way, sure. But, I'm going to live a life as long as a blah, 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 and I'm going to take care of this and that. And you should. And you should take care of your health if you guys want to live forever. If I live tomorrow, I actually lived a good life, but I'm not leaving behind a young child. There's been so many comments, comment after comment, not only our channel, but multiple channels stating nothing's more pathetic than a 60-something-year-old man pushing a baby stroller with a young Filipina in a mall. And I would have to agree and disagree at the same time, but I don't know. These guys, why? I've said this, but now officially I'm going to go into it. Why would you want to start all over again? Sorry if that's going to include any of our
Well,
people, but
in all fairness, here's the real question: would you say the same thing to Robert De Niro?
yes,
Well, that's what I'm getting. I'm not talking to you, but I'm saying for those of you out there,
that's the real 10%er
if
clubs, not these one
if you're
that were
gonna,
middle class
yeah,
in the U.S. and sitting over here like they're filthy rich. No, you ain't filthy rich,
because it has nothing to do with
Barney and
Filipina
whatever.
or
Oh,
Expat.
Wilma and Fred Flintstone, the 10%ers that are living their best life, that they're the top 10%ers, and what whoop-de-doo, and that's fine for you, but it's still just sad that I call them the 10%ers that go and have kids like that are, but it's just truths. And if the truth hurts and it's sticking to them, then that's fine. But why? Why would you? Why? Because per Mark's words, he wasn't going to. Go watch the videos. It said that it was addressed through her recent video on her husband's channel, that she addressed the lies and everything else. Even Paul said that, but there was no addressing about anything except for him being organized, how much she loved, how much she suffered, why she was sitting by her husband's side not eating, and all these things she said. That's fine. Power be you and all that. And I told George no more than any other grieving widow would be doing, or sitting next to her husband in the hospital, whether it was love, hate, or whatever, maybe even like a father. But down to that, the whole situation of the all I can say is that he was not exactly in it to have a kid in the beginning. Jen wanted a kid. Did she deserve one? Yes. But why did you marry an older guy anyways? Why did you take that opportunity to go in for an expat? I feel and others feel it was because of what she thought was a money opportunity when she chose him off that dating site. I'm sure that's what you thought was love at first sight when you said, hey, there's a good looking guy at 65 years old, and I'm just going to, no, don't cry about it, babe. I know you love Mark.
I'm gonna be brutally honest.
I want you to be Sir George. I mean,
Has
think
nothing to
about
do
it.
with Jen. Has nothing to
They
do
already
with Jen.
admitted they got each other off the
No,
site.
no,
He
no.
already
That's what I'm
said
saying.
that he didn't want a kid.
Okay,
How'd she do
to
that?
clarify, I'm not talking about Jen at this stage. I'm just I'm talking to male expats specifically. Okay. There's female. Does this apply to female expats? Yes, but I'm talking more on male side because I know personally about the male experience. And now,
Do you?
and I'm not talking about Jen. I'm not. I'm gonna clarify that right now. I'm not talking about Jen. I'm talking about other. If you're an expat and you're on Tinder
sticks,
or whatever Filipina site
it
there
could be
is
Jen if it
to
sticks.
to meet. meet up,
Hey
meet
guys,
up with them. Okay.
guys, the cat and dog is playing together. Hey, calm down, guys.
Now, our there's a lot of Filipinas by default. Okay, are on these sites to again get money from you. Period. There's no other reason on earth other for them to be collecting money from expats. Fact. Not even. I'm not even. It's not a lie. It's common knowledge. Okay, this happens. Now, here's the problem. The problem is when the expat says, "I'm flying and coming over." Boom. Problem number one. Okay. Now I'm talking about real things here. First off,
Ah,
do okay. So anyway, that's the first bomb to drop. And the
SNL.
first thing that they always do, honestly, this is the common shtick. I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay. I know I talk about load, but it's more specifically this is how they do it. I won't be able to talk to you anymore because they're gonna disconnect my phone.
Oh,
And
we
then
yeah.
then the guy says, "Well, how much is well, I know. Let me okay. So how much is it? Oh, it's only 1,500 pesos. Oh, that's all? No problem. But
No problem.
but I'm behind 3 months.
Calm down, pup.
So it's
What?
not see, that's
Trying
how
to
they
give
break
you
you down.
away
They
now.
they throw in a smaller number first to get the hook on. And then they go like, oh, okay, that's not a problem. You already said a yes. And then they reel you in. They're like, but I'm behind 3 months. So they're about to cut me off. And since you already said yes, it's kind of hard to back out. You know what I'm saying? And it's psychological. It's a psychological game. And they're like, ugh, okay, well, okay, then you send the money. That's how they do the load thing. Okay. Now, the first bomb falls is when the expat says,
Let me see your face.
I'm coming over. Okay.
Caught you, didn't
And
I?
again, most of these girls do not expect you to actually show up, period. Because most of them don't. Okay. Um, so there you go. Then you fly over, and you'll be lucky if they pick you up at the airport. Most of the time, they don't. They just don't show up. They just don't. Now, see, the fact that they show up shows you they have a heart. So there's hope. There's hope. But here's the thing: when they do pick you up, they do, and odds are they'll take you home. They're not going to take you to a hotel. Odds, unless you're the one who's paying for the hotel right away. Right, I know that. Now,
Yeah, the odds that they won't pick you up at the airport
okay,
and
yeah, hold
then
on.
the hotel.
Right, they'll take you home. But that's a good sign that they have a heart. So that means they're not completely, heartless, and they'll leave you hanging dry. But here's the thing. That
Oh,
also means that they really didn't have you in mind.
I'm gonna dress Jen on one more thing too.
And then eventually you'll be lucky if they do tend to love you. Now, keep in mind there's a difference between loving you and in love with you. I'm just saying, guys.
That's what I mean. There's no way she just. You can't convince me. She was really trying to convince people how great their marriage
Well,
is
I
and
wasn't
how
talking
much a
about
loving
Jen. I'm
person.
just
Well, I'm
saying
directly addressing her
be
recent.
aware that there's a
There's
difference
no doubt that
between
she cared.
somebody
And
loving you and somebody in love with you. Kind of like, okay, Heidi, am I in love with Heidi? Oh yes, definitely. There's times when I just think about Heidi and tears roll down my cheek.
that's
Really,
true. Just this morning.
literally, literally. I mean, I'm like, oh, Heidi.
Okay. Now that's it. I'm done with your dating stories. Back to Jen and something that I heard old Paul dog new tricks this morning. And me and George discussed this. He did say all the paperworks and ducks were in order and all the stuff was turned in. I'm assuming what people said that the 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 registration of the child's birth abroad has been filed. As far as the Social Security and him saying there was contact to push the file, and them were the words he used, really made me think about that. And I can't see how I'm off on this by any means. him filing for his son's Social Security is now not the same as her now having it in her name and applying for benefits for a child. Two different things. Them are two different applications. There is no amendments. The only thing that can be done is something under the table. She has to reapply as a beneficiary for a check for her son in her own bank, not his bank. That was heading to his bank if that was all processed. So unless they're going to do something shady and she's going to hold on to his card and withdraw stuff from the US as he had been doing, okay, that he had mentioned on his own channels, then there's something else up. Survivor benefits. Thank you, American-Filipino. So in a case like that, the same application is no longer valid. When was it ever valid in the US? It's still the US Social Security admin. It's just at the embassy, the US embassy here in the Philippines. There's no amendments for that, guys. So you're saying that it has. Yeah, things have changed unless you're saying things have changed. There would have to be. And there can't be an amendment. It's two different things.
Which
She
part?
still has to, for a check for her son. Paul said that they pulled somewhere along the lines. I don't have the video in front of me.
I think, okay.
The application
I think when he says or she says things have changed, be aware back then in the olden days, Jen wouldn't have anything, wouldn't have a leg to stand on, just the check that her son received. Now, I think when they said that things have changed, that she actually gets her own check plus baby Rogan.
Correct. Yeah, the check was to be paid to him because he had a son. It increased his Social Security. That is the application the embassy has. Paul said something about it being in there and something about on Monday, when was that, all that. Again, don't have the word for word, but something in regards to that. And then it made me think that I can't see in any manner how that would become the same application unless somebody at the top of the pile, in other words, somebody in there just fills out the stuff and redoes it for her instantly. Can that be done? Possibly. But in the United States, it would void the whole process for Social Security. And then you would have to do it again. It's under the wife's name, wife's bank. Something totally different. I can't see how it's going to be processed under the same application. So unless the only thing I can think of is both their names was on it and they're just going to drop his name off. It's something totally different. And she's going to need the death certificate. So how can you process something without a death certificate? Could she have it already and they really pushed through a death certificate in the last, when did he pass away? Then it would be something totally different.
13th.
So was it the 13th?
No, don't quote me on that.
Yeah, they think said Friday the 13th. So with the holiday in 15 days, did they get a birth certificate or get a death certificate? I doubt it. She said something about the end of the month was going to be his funeral and all this other stuff. I cannot imagine they have that death certificate in 15 days in the Philippines.
It's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible, but not a norm. So,
yeah. But now, keep in mind also, remember,
it's not normal for those that are going to go through the process.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, remember, it's really, in the end, it really is not about Jen, but it's about baby Rogan.
Oh, snap. It says SSA doesn't miss a thing. There's no way that Jen will get any dollars. People have said that. I don't know based on what, but for her son, she's supposed to, based on that. It doesn't matter that she didn't live outside or like in the United States for a while, like some people are saying. But according to the new system, she'll get a check for raising his son for the next 18 years. It's not going to be a full amount, probably only 200 or 300, but she would have got widow funds if she would have been over 60 and at least 9 months with him. She met all that guideline, but the being over 60 was a stipulation. But being the child is underage, supposedly she'll get a check. Supposedly there are a few women here receiving that extra money for raising these children. It rarely happens in the U.S. It's hard to find that information, but there are people here getting those. So she'll get 2 separate checks for him, but I don't think it's going to be processed under that old application that was at the bottom of the pile or something, they said, at the embassy. Or it'd be Social Security admin, not, but We will go through the comments. Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
hey, where you at?
Is that the puppy?
No, that's her. They're having their time. She's going through. You need to stop. What? Come here. Come here.
MB.
Mary.
Hello, Philippine Expats. Hey, MB, how you doing? Smile and be happy. Thumbs up. Hey, Tony Manning.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on.
And sorry, guys, and welcome.
Hey, always me.
Welcome back, members
Ray
and
for
moderators.
X. Hi, Heidi and George, South Carolina in the house. Yeah. So I'll be happy. Happy New Year, right? I know, right? Bobby G, good morning. Did somebody call?
It's possible.
Max says, after a bad day, nice to have you guys live streaming. Aw, sorry to hear that. Now, Expat Forever says she's moving out of her apartment, moving in with her sister and future brother-in-law.
Yes, we've heard that, and we said that she was moving. That was not an unheard of. As a matter of fact, we announced in our live streams that she was already there or going to, or during the incident.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. That she was going to. So there's no surprise there. It was said that in his paperwork he had made arrangements for her future. Unfortunately, I don't feel that that's making arrangements. Having more savings and not having a kid and arranging things more in advance would have been a better plan for her. But it's a start, and it's really nice of the in-law and the sister to take people on.
There's a hyena outside.
Yeah. And I also want to address, I seen somebody say something about she can go on and go to college. According to that video we watched this morning 4 years ago, she called it college. She called them by quarters and everything else. You think she was just talking about high school, or not high school, but something? I don't know. She called it college because when I went to college, so it sounds like she had already done some college.
Oh, did you?
Someone further down when I seen it.
What did you read?
No, I didn't do.
Okay. Well, I don't know her educational background.
Yeah, someone said she could go to college and get a job and all this stuff.
Well, how old is she now?
29, 32, somewhere like that. It's gonna be hard getting a job.
I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. Again, this is a fact. Once you're 30, you're over the hill in the Philippines. I'm not even making that up. Once you hit past 30, good luck getting a job. Fact.
Technically, in the dating world too, you'll actually have guys in this area say that they're
Like I said,
older.
At 30 years old, you're over the hill here. I'm not making that up. Jobs. Most of the time when they have a help wanted sign, you have to be 30 years or younger, and you have to be single. It does say that. And it's not just me. I've talked to other Filipinos, same thing. They all agree. In fact, there's a bunch of people, which I can't say right now, who are gonna get laid off only because of they're kind of over the hill, but they're not.
Yeah, so it's going to
Yeah.
be a while. And yes, we did not know. A few people had initially told us and others that the CRBA was not completed, that he had to do a second part. Looks like that part has gone through, but what he was saying, or was being said, is the Social Security itself. And so, being that CRBA supposedly, maybe the final part of receiving the papers was not done, and that's what Paul was talking about. I'm going to say I don't know, but according to him, I'm just saying the Social Security end has to be changed. There has to be, whether they'll do that over the phone for her or these extra steps they'll take to help Paul out. That would be really nice if they would, take that step to be able to change. Now, this wouldn't happen in the U.S. I would only think it's happening here. In other words, they would make me or you in the U.S. go down there and take care of business.
Well, yeah, of course.
But here, if he's got the connection at the embassy, which is dealing with Social Security people, which are Filipinos, and there's a possibility that was all done. But I don't know. Did she have in hand all that stuff, or is that the final process that Paul was talking about that he was going to have put through? In other words, maybe he did not receive it yet, but he said his Social Security. So
Right.
I'm a little confused. But
Harry Walsh says hello, Heidi and George, Ted, Sarah, and all from Deer Park, New York, where
good
it's
morning.
a cold 19 degrees.
Oh snap!
19 degrees this morning.
Oh, he said Wilma and Fred paid for the baby shower. So as I'm to understand, they've been paying for a lot of stuff. So it's there's other things on that
Expat Forever
situation.
says the car will be repossessed. Well,
Somebody said she didn't want to keep it based on the money, but it
well,
will.
no,
I mean,
no,
it's in his name, so
well,
that's how it works.
well, it's not so much that. It's what I'm saying is, even if it's not,
She's not going to pay half her check away for a car payment.
right, she can get a motorcycle.
Maybe Fred and Wilma can pay for it. Yabba dabba do, or she can just use her legs.
She can get a motorcycle or a tricycle versus keep paying for it. I mean, a car payment would pay for a motorcycle tricycle. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, a motorcycle here is about 80,000 pesos, 90,000 for a brand name.
Well, right now it sounds like she's got a lot of extra side friends over there that can actually help her. There's no doubt there's going to be somebody that helps her.
Right.
There's all kinds of them there. The circle of friends they had there in Dumageddon are the basic people. Most of them have a YouTube channel. Most of them are intertwined by the YouTube channels. They had other friends, and so I'm sure somebody. I mean, there's never been a doubt in my mind that people are going to come through and try to help her, but it's other people helping her because there wasn't good prep on Mark's side.
Well, you can only,
if there was life insurance and he saved a bunch of money and kept saving his YouTube money, then it's a possibility that might have helped her where, that'd help quite a bit.
well, even if you did, you can never really be prepared all the way.
No, that is true. And that's why it's
even
good to have those people too. So,
because even if you had life insurance, all that, it's still not instantaneous. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Normally, you have to front the money and then they reimburse you, kind of deal.
Well, you wouldn't get access to, like air, and it still takes the courts and stuff. Yeah.
Victoria says, "Good morning, Heidi, George, and all Filipina crew. Hope all had a great Christmas." Hey, Victoria,
Yes.
see, hi, George and Heidi, liked.
Thank you.
Yeah,
80,000.
she has all Mark's friends taking good care of her. Oh, I see. Jim says 80,000 are lining up for their turn. I see where you got the number from.
Wow. What's up? Texas Filipino is in the house.
Hey, Texas Filipino, how you doing?
We've watched Texas Filipino on and
Tony.
off. So,
hey, Tony. He says, "Be careful of wolf dress in sheep's clothing."
You have to think about it. He interviewed Fred and Wilma. I mean, I thought I had recognized the guy by some of the stuff that he's done. Believe it or not, I could not handle their content based on multiple things. It's just one of those. First, we don't really watch a whole bunch of channels. And that was one after somebody said this and that, and then we went and watched the video. There's like, we've seen these guys, because he didn't say who he was. And I said, I know I've seen this guy. And I was like, I know who that is. And then I actually went in and looked at his stuff. But in saying that, kind of lost where I was on that one. But either way, Fred and Wilma, always good to have friends. But I would really be getting some attorneys on that stuff, because if it's old Fred and Wilma that gave you that advice to get into the channel, you could be looking at a whole nother problem.
No, again, in all seriousness, get an attorney. Always get an attorney. Yeah. And like I said, YouTube is a business and therefore must be handled the exact same way. If the owner passed away, it doesn't necessarily mean you can take it over.
The reason she did that was because she figured, or he figured, it'd be more finances. She could have done it on her own channel, and that would have been legal. Instead, she went in and they're advising, and it's really, they can twist and turn in their chairs all they want, but there's so many legalities, and there is no way they process that
And
estate in
YouTube
2
is
weeks.
one of
You
the
might
most.
get the death certificate, and I doubt you got that death certificate. But if you did, and then you're able to go through and do his estate, it doesn't matter whether it's processed in America or processed in the Philippines. I ain't gonna pretend I'm an attorney. What I do know is you should have done it on your channel, not took that advice, and then went in there and asking for money from other people using his account because there were more people and because they were his people. They would have found you there too. People have been looking. We've been telling people to go direct to you, and there's other ways they could have handled it. You've got a Patreon that there wasn't going to be hard to find you, honey. And now you've gone in there. Talk about, who I feel sorry for? Mark's 2 kids in the UK. That's who I feel sorry for, that are just being totally, that there were other family people, you know just because you have a baby didn't put you, in the running.
Well, her baby's kind of not exactly the first baby.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Anyway, that forever says Mark was selfish. She will not. She will get nothing. Mark has nothing.
Well,
Tony says she got the Beanie Babies. That's all that matters.
she can't touch them right now. No, no, ma'am. No, sir. No ham. No way. I hope one of the kids asks for it. And I keep saying kids. These are adults. So, I mean, I call them the kids.
Wow, Black Grandpa. I haven't heard that saying in a while. Something tells me an expat's going to know her up soon.
Right?
Yeah.
If not already, I guarantee with all the friends that are that group that goes to those parties, and they show this. It's not me guessing. You've seen their little soirees. You know who's all there. It's expats that have YouTube channels, that have other ones that come through, and it's just going to keep circling. And way to go. That's fine. I suggest you try to find somebody your own age, but she won't. I could bet everything that I have in this house in George's hat that she's going to end up with one of those expats within the circle.
Hey Tim, how you doing? From Columbus, Ohio.
Hey, what's up,
And Tim? Like Bobby
What
G agrees with you. He says she'll be fine, guys. Come on. Mark's followers will be lined up around Duma to slip and slide.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that. A few people have said over and over again, "What's your deal if she does or not?" No, she will. And then others said, it talked about, her having a kid, and why would guys? No, they actually will.
Yeah. Now keep in mind
She's
also
still young enough.
right. Now keep in mind again,
maybe they like that punch hole. Maybe they like that punch hole and them staring baby eyes. Go ahead, babe. Say it. Say it.
Staring baby.
What about the punch hole? Oh. I'm talking about on any woman, every mother, any single mother.
Yeah, like I said, remember there's it doesn't matter who you are or what you are, whether it's me, Heidi, or whoever. You have people who are with you or against you.
OMG. Why? What am I talking about? I could end up with a kid. Knock on wood. But at least you're not like way, way older. I could always have a baby.
Right. And Gary Johnson says good.
You can have a baby over the age of 50, dude. Mary had a baby.
Gary Johnson says, "Good morning. It amazes me to sit here and read these negative comments about human being Mark Thornton," which is kind of odd because I didn't see any. Was a human being and deserves compassion regardless of what you think of his character.
Okay, first off, people keep saying this. I'm going to address you and others that may be in the room twisting in your seat. First twist and spin. People keep saying that we keep directly saying hateful things about him as a person or her. I don't think we've once said he's a nasty, dirty, no good for nothing, blah, blah, blah. We've never. We said what people might feel. It's always been a topic of conversation. If I'm
Us
going to
reading the comments doesn't mean it comes from us.
Correct. And other people, as we do have the right to their opinion to some extent on our channel. And those all know who they're being removed. Okay. So for the most part, we've been leaving, even when people call me names. Okay. I get it. The other part is attacking his character. I already said that the missus needs to sit down and get off of YouTube. They exploited themselves over that age gap relationship, having the baby, and he did it all to himself. He should have stayed off of YouTube and she should have. But they both did it and said it was for the money. And they did. They already said all of that. He already said that it was a supplement to his income and how, he had a low amount of Social Security and all that. He knew what was involved. She needs to learn what's involved and she needs to get some thicker skin because her being upset, she shouldn't have been on the internet anyways looking all this up. But if it's going to be said, it's just going to outright be said. Next. Good afternoon.
Well, actually, Jen just saying she has more important stuff to do than YouTube at this point.
If
Just saying.
somebody's sending an email, don't open up that email.
In all fairness, she has more important stuff to do at this moment other than YouTube.
Yep.
Expat Forever says she will have a hard time collecting Social Security for the child. I know someone going through the same process.
No, it's not that easy.
Always Me says she's in good hands.
I bet she is.
Bobby G says
Yabba
I'm
dabba
trying to
doo.
get my baby registered for Social Security. First step is to get their dual citizenship period. Nothing can happen until then, no matter what.
So maybe that's what Paul meant. Again, I watched that twice, the beginning where he was addressing things. I was wondering when he would finally address things. I think it was due to so many people contacting. And he is friends with him. And the part I didn't understand is people said, nope, that process has already been done. And others said it was only partially done. Okay, these are the things I don't know. So unless somebody actually has that, but then Paul said something about pushing the whole thing and about Social Security. And it's like, no, the Social Security application. Maybe it just meant getting his Social Security card for the baby and maybe the full CBR or CBR thing is not completed. Once that is pushed through, maybe that's what Paul was talking about because he said that pushing the papers through. Once he gets that, then it'll make it easy. She can't apply until she gets that. And then it's still going to be, maybe that's what he was talking about because the baby gets a Social Security card because they have to have a number in order to apply.
Right.
So that would have been, so maybe that's the thing we're missing.
Yeah.
So, but now, yeah, I mean, it's just going to take a while, I think is the whole point.
Yeah. No, I mean, of course. Jim, that brings up a good point. Mark did not take any criticism at all. No businesses having a kid at 69. That kid will never know his father.
No, he blocked people that said anything in his lives against anything. And we're not talking about like simply like when you guys come through and say some simple stuff and we're going to have that in there. No, he actually blocked anything that was said to him about anything. And also he said but the funny part is in his own words in his live streams and videos, he mentioned not having a kid and that he wasn't going to have a kid. And then all of a sudden it's I'm having a kid. So it was just a strange turnaround and he never had the intention to actually have a kid. Not going to doubt his love for his son. And I watched a video the other day that said where he said how much he cared for him and the happiness. There's no doubt he seemed happy. That
you can tell
it didn't change, but where does that change the responsibility level? Love doesn't equal responsibility and be able to pay for that kid. It's sorry. And or vice versa. If you have a bunch of money, that doesn't mean the other way around, doesn't mean love either. So either way, at that age, it was really a bad thing. And if this hits other people because they've had a kid after a certain age, it's just where it is. It's not for everybody.
In all fairness, you can have a stroke and a heart attack at any age. Even at a young age, you can get a stroke and a heart attack.
I get why some people...
You can be 13 years old and get a stroke and a heart attack. It happens. Yeah. But anyway, Jim,
and everybody will have their opinion on whether they think people should have kids after a certain age. I'm one of those that felt it shouldn't be done. Yeah. If the guys have had success, and some guys haven't had kids at all, I could see the gamble on that. There are men that come here that never had any or never had full relationships and got married and found happiness. I see why that might actually be it. But he already had 2 kids, and one of his kids have issues that are medical. I myself would have been Jen and been like, yeah, no thanks, I'll pass on that spunk. I mean, I'm out.
Yeah, and again, the kid will never know his father. For those of you saying, "Well, there's YouTube," guess what? That doesn't
She said
necessarily
that,
mean
yeah.
that's him.
That's not why she's going to keep that channel. She mentioned that she's got personal videos on her phone that she'll only show him, and that the videos is the legacy to give to him. I'd give away George's hat again and his shoes if that kid will sit through his videos and his interviews. What do you think? You think he's going to sit through those interviews and videos?
Yeah, he will.
Okay,
I think so.
we don't know.
Yeah.
I still would take that gamble. I don't think
Well,
he's
what I'm
gonna.
saying,
He may once, but I don't think
he
he's
can
gonna
watch
sit.
him all he wants. That's still not him.
Yeah.
Now, um, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, does it?
We said that that's what the YouTube
That's just a
channel's for, is for
recording
our
of a
family. Do you really
show
think they sit around
that
and watch it
he
all the time?
produced.
Right,
That
that's what I
doesn't
mean.
necessarily mean it's him. It doesn't mean kind of like when these food vloggers say, it's really good. It doesn't mean it's good. Most of it,
Right.
guys, it tastes
I'm
horrible.
sure they'll look. I just
You know
don't
what I'm
think
saying?
it's not going to be the way he's going to get to know his dad is by the interviews that he did. It's nice to have, just like ours, so the kids can see us later, but it pretty much just stays like
Right.
that.
And
But her keeping the channel open and then collecting money and posting her own videos in the future, which she needs to legally get straightened around, is not exactly,
yeah, and like Heidi says, legally strained. Like Willie Shoemaker says, I thought once married, it automatically defaults to the spouse if there's no will. Yes, but it still needs
it's not an
if you
automatic.
own a laundromat and
And we
you
don't,
pass away and your wife's the only legal
you
inheritor,
still got to
she
file
still has to
something.
go through the legal
Probate.
ropes to get it in her name.
Same here.
Until then,
Or
it's
whether it's in
shut
the
down.
EOS. Yes.
Right.
No
The
will, then
right. The
yes.
spouse has the right to shut it down while it's being processed, but they cannot continue running it under said, deceased owner legally. Anyway, again, don't hate on me, don't hate on us. We
It's
don't make
going
the
to take a
rules.
probate, but what
It's
I
just the way
do
it
know is
is.
wrong, and they can say and come back and make all the videos they want on it. She had no legal right to go in, use his password, access his channel, to drop to ask for funds with this guy that runs his own YouTube channel. I get she deserves them, needs them. There's no doubt in my mind. But at this point, that AdSense will continue until she provides full documents that she is the only legal heir to that account. And I went through that when I first opened it up, and I really don't feel at this point she had the ability to, or the actual right to.
Yeah.
So, which I don't know, because I would have to think very slowly on that. See, at this point, I just go through. There's things she needs to change over. I'm sure they're like, oh yes, she did, and all that, and there's a very fine line. So she had her own channel she could have done it through.
Margaret says Jen is a lovely woman. I hope she gets fair play to her husband's money for her and the baby. Correct.
I agree. Just remember there are others. That's our whole point is, there's no doubt that she's going to need some income and that she's going to need it, but fair play to the rest of the family for whatever Mark did have. Because there's other things. He still did write some books through Amazon. He still had, not that it might have produced a lot of money, but we know that he told the world that he had other access. If any of that is producing a few hundred a month, then still his children in the UK are actually part of that. I would hope that she would keep that into consideration, whatever opportunity she has to, you know. I'm going to pinch all 18 of George's children out. I'm going to run a GoFundMe on George's funeral. That's next week.
Vlogging Life says, lesson here is expats don't be selfish and make sure that your partner is always taken care of. Don't assume you're going to live long and take care of it later. Correct.
Yes.
There's It's not related. Um, Bobby G says she's young and pretty. She will land on her feet, guaranteed. I bet she already goes through tons of deposits soon. She made her channel from the guys who follow Mark, who listed after her.
Well, I don't think it's per rumor. I mean,
Yes, Willie Shoemaker. Yes, she needs an attorney. Well, if it's worth it, in the end, it is only because now the problem you have here, a lot of lawyers. I said a lot. I'm not saying all. They're not. There's some. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Magetti. I'm really not. Now, for instance, if, for example, here, I know which lawyers to go to who I know they know something that they're not scrambling in the dark. But I know that there's some lawyers here that are scrambling in the dark. Now, don't get me wrong when I mean that. Same thing in the U.S. Because remember, YouTube is a relatively new thing. It's not new, but it's new enough for the law. Kind of like, you know how many years it took for the U.S. government or even the Philippine government to tax online sales?
yeah, because they just started it 4 years ago about the taxes.
Correct. And guess
That is
what?
a new
Online
thing.
sales existed since online existed.
So whether they file or not,
Correct.
I have to ask you a question real quick.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's relative. YouTube is relatively new. It takes a while for the law to catch up. Kind of like online sales. It took. I mean, online's been forever.
Actually, not really. People are just choosing not to, in my personal opinion. They've put out memos. People choose not to look up what the rules
No,
are.
I know that.
So they feel being YouTube is out of the U.S. and they're American, Canadian, or otherwise, they just file in their own hometown.
Oh no,
But
no,
it's a
no.
dual.
That's
Oh, did I
that's
miss?
different.
Oh,
That's different. I'm not talking about
oh, sorry. I was
whether
trying
they
to
know
message somebody.
they know the law. I'm talking about the lawyer knows the law
Oh, I got you. Oh, sorry. I haven't seen it.
because
Uh,
to defend
well, I had to
something.
sit there and think about
what I
if
mean?
something happened to you, would I just use this channel to make the. I know I would think about it and contact our attorney. We do have one. So the whole point is I appear with George on here, and Google knows that it's got it, that we both do it together. But as far as the channel being directly in Mark's name and all that is legally just his, her just signing in and making a video and uploading and asking for money, there just seems something, and you're going to get offended on that, Barney and Fred and Wilma and that whole group over there, yabba dabba do, that there just seems something shady about that.
Mm.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but she gets a pass because it's his wife.
No. No.
Oh, well, this is just me on the top of my head.
Legally, again, YouTube is a business. Technically, honestly,
Like me, I would need to. What I would
do think yes, that video was out of place. It's not doesn't belong on Mark's channel. It belongs on her channel.
So
Correct.
So what I would do, okay, is I would use probably one of the original channels I have.
She doesn't have to shut it down. I get it, but
She could have used
that
hers.
video, correct? That video
She
is
has
out of
7 or
place.
8,000 on her own channel. I have an Uber Heidi account where I used to drive Uber part time, so I could use that one. And technically, there is another account that I have. So in other words, I would just use my channel to come in and do something. So, and I could still access other parts, emails to our members and all of that. So, yeah, so there's a different level that it could have went, and I get that whether she's grieving or not, or it seemed like the right thing to do. Again, I'm sure they're like, I can't believe she did another video and blah blah blah, and why is she doing this? Why did you come on and do it? You just put in front of the world and ask for money for her, and then you say whether you want to or not, that's up to you guys. Either do or don't. It was like, oh, okay. And then it was just, to me, it seemed really off,
and
it's
Jen,
really
again,
misdirecting her.
This is not against you. It really isn't. But Jen, you did not. I get it's a tough time. It's really hard, but you really didn't need anybody or use Mark's channel to post that video. You could have been just yourself. Make that video yourself. You should.
Stayed off of YouTube.
Well, it's not that. You should have enough confidence in yourself that
if they were already helping her, if Greg and Wilma was true people, he could have just stayed off and just helped her under the table, not talk, whatever. Oh, I've been here with her and the whole 9 yards. People were already helping her without her going
that's what I was
on.
getting at. You don't need a spokesperson. She does
Yeah,
them.
it was really
She's
odd.
intelligent enough to do it.
She's done her own interviews.
You
I
have
thought it
to
was
have,
odd.
because you know what? Believe it or not, a lot of people can tell when they look at you. They can tell right away if you have self confidence or not. You should have enough self confidence to do things, especially now.
And I know she loves her son. I
Well,
watched her hold her son
no,
and
I
say
know it's not a
that she
question.
really, yeah, there's no question,
It's,
but she has
well, what
to.
I'm saying is, again, now is more than ever that she needs her self confidence. Because again, you don't need,
And she's got a battle coming. I would like to think that Mark's kids and the wife and every ex-wife and everybody in the UK and the other family is not going to have any issues with the whole thing. But according to some other resources, there was a problem with at least one of the kids, but maybe there wasn't. But either way, as long as everybody was getting along and they approved of everything, then there probably shouldn't be any problems. Here's the thing, I don't think there's a whole lot to battle over. Even if you threw everything in a bucket, we're talking a couple thousand US dollars. It's not like, but the residuals coming in, a lot of people think if she just leaves a channel sitting there, she's going to make a big amount of money. No. My guess on residuals, if he's making 700, 1,000 a month, because you get anywhere between $2 to $20, and he wasn't making the $20 per thousand situation. So those videos will slow down, the algorithm will die, and he'll probably make in $100 a month, maybe. Then if she posts on his channel, she wants to make sure that it's legal. This was the biggest thing I wanted to do this on, because me and George was going to sit down yesterday, except for he was working, and I was going to discuss the breakdown of, what if you die and you have a YouTube channel, what happens? We basically know the breakdown and can give it to you in whole. And I said, nope, let's just cover it again. Beings, Paul made an addressing and they did, and that she did this. And then I wanted to address her on things she really should do. Now, I'm sure that there's but unfortunately, she needs to think on her own also. But she's not going to do that as far as people are feeding her, giving her money, and that group's just stuck together that she's, with. And I get that too. You're scared. You're absolutely scared. And you may even rewatch this again. I get it. I've been there. The thing with me that I was sitting there thinking is I have experience and I'm past all of that. I'm past raising my kids and worrying about when this is coming in, when that's coming in. And it does happen. There's still times that you may deal with that in your older age, but for the most part, experience. So
yeah. Engelversat Mayap Naabak. Good morning.
good morning.
I was trying to see if somebody has any new relatable
Well, I'm going to start from the bottom in case somebody.
information.
Regular guys love baby-roonies. Is regular guy in the room somewhere? Wouldn't surprise me, but
Right.
because we have contact with regular guy. Oh, Tony. All the Chinese women I met, I gave them my $69 number. They were lucky. Way to go, Tony.
You guys are hilarious.
Oh, there it is. Hey, Jackie Chan. We already addressed that, sir. How long are you guys going to ride? You missed that in the beginning, but I guess we could do a number for you. How long you going to ride the Mark Thornton horse? Are you guys desperate for views? The answer is yes. And for every subject and topic we cover, that's for us to decide that. And we already did that. The wheels on the bus go round and round. If you're on YouTube, the game is open. Looks like she stays in the game. Old Dog wants to address it. Another vlogger wants to address it. We're going to address it. And every topic, we will keep on addressing it as long as we see fit. When George pulls the plug on the whole thing and says no, then it'll be a no. So it's good to see that the team Mark is still active. Or my guess is, did you have a nice Christmas, John?
Right.
Let's just cut to the chase
Well,
there.
either way.
So, oh,
Yeah.
they're here. The meows are here. Oh, look, they're
No, the cats are here. I think it's when we do the lives, they're kind of trained, I guess, because after the live, when we shut them down, they all come downstairs and they all literally sit on our chests.
yeah.
But one
We
of them
only
was
have the
behind us
3 of them now.
earlier.
They were playing,
Well, one
so
of them was behind you earlier.
right. But before we had a lot
for
more
the most part, they
cats.
hide. Yes.
We had a lot more cats in the past. Now we only have 3, and we have the indoor puppy now, Mary, and the outdoor one.
Yeah. Bobby G says he obviously was pretty broke if she is already having to move to sisters, can't even pay a month's worth of bill.
Someone says we're morally bankrupt. You talking about Mark and Jen? Oh, well. Dun, 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 dun. Interesting. Somebody said here that Mark was diagnosed as a mildly retarded as a child. He was teased and mocked his entire life, and in grade 9 education, he couldn't even he couldn't even hold it said he had something, a grade 9 education, but he couldn't hold a job his whole entire life. He's saying moving to the Philippines was the best thing ever for him. So
Right. And again, like I know our Philippine journey isn't here anymore but anyway, I'm gonna address this only because it's important again. If you have a valid will, there's no probate as far as US is concerned. Yes, but again, YouTube is a business, yada yada yada. You still have
my
to
grandparents did, and we did have to go to court.
you
So
still have to go
so
through
I
the
don't
legal.
know.
So for
That's not
example,
true.
if
You
you
still
if
have
you
to
own a
file
nightclub,
that.
if you own a nightclub, okay?
I
Let's
don't
say
know
you
where you
own a
get that.
nightclub and you croak you wrote the will to your wife. Your wife automatically gets to run the nightclub. Incorrect. That
You have
nightclub has to shut down until all the legal papers are in her name.
Here's the thing. I would disagree with that.
Well,
My
there's no.
grandparents, when they did,
Then
they
that's what I'm
had a
saying.
legal one, and
And a lot of people misunderstand. That's not how it works.
no, there's a whole thing. People have to contest it. You have to wait to see all that. Depends on the type, though. I know that there's a certain type, but we still had to run it through the courts.
Well, what I'm saying is, even in a perfect world, you still have to, again, do the legal things in order to keep operating. Let's say you went through already that.
Yeah, you have to wait for it to be done.
Let's say the judge already says yes, it's yours. You still have to go through.
Yeah, it said you can't sell or do anything until you get through all that. So if he had a legal will, that is not the go button. So if he's trying to say there's a legal will and that's it, it can't be. I went through that with my grandparents.
Like I said, it doesn't mean that you inherit a car if you don't have a license.
Had to go. It has still had to go.
Yeah, if you don't have a driver's license, it doesn't mean you inherited your husband's car.
We had
you
to
can drive
hire
it.
in
You still need the
attorney.
licensing to operate that vehicle.
Well, that's another. Yeah, that's a whole nother horse.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is still a business. You need all the paperwork, all the licensing required to back it up.
To run. Yeah,
correct.
To get payment for the
YouTube
YouTube channel.
is a business, and guess what? That's what
if
YouTube
you're getting paid from
keeps
YouTube.
telling us. YouTube is a business. Every time we go to YouTube, they always start it with YouTube is a business. YouTube is a business. No, really, I'm not making this up. They literally drive that in.
Yes, if she takes any payment based on that, besides her Gcash and all of that, then yes, it is still required.
And don't hate. It's just the legalities of it. I mean,
now whether her husband had all of that, that's a whole nother thing. I'm sure they'll come up with a whole nother thing on that. They can address that. We're not saying if it has or hasn't been done, but no. Now that I think about it, we had to pay an attorney that actually we had to file at the courts the will. So I don't understand where you're coming from on that one. We had to pay for that, and we did have to wait. We couldn't do nothing until we got paperwork back. We couldn't sell the house. We couldn't do nothing. So I don't know where you're coming from on that, our Philippine journey. I'm sure of that 100% now.
No, I know. Well, he's not here, I'm sure. But anyway, But like I said, the legality of it again. A good example again is a car. It doesn't mean you inherit a car. If you don't have a driver's license, you can drive that car. No, just saying. I'm just giving a really loose analogy here, but same thing in a business. Even if it's a laundromat, you still the laundromat licensing and all that. But anyway,
Right there, probate in Ohio, and he's from Ohio. I remember clearly where he's from. So if that's where his mom still was, and originally, let's give you an idea. It says here that it is court supervised on the wills.
yeah.
So the answer is yes. But that depends. Now, Philippines may change it a little bit if he had all that done legally. But you still have to go through that. Even if he scratched
Well,
on a
like
piece
I
of paper,
said,
she gets everything. You still have to do something with that if that's what she's going
like I
to
said,
use.
even a perfect world, let's say it doesn't have to go through the court system whether to agree or disagree goes to her. She still
The
has to
executor
have
named
all the
on the
paperwork.
will of the petition will have to go probate the court. So I would just, and I'm sure, and the Philippines laws don't change much more, except for who's
They're
really
because they're based on American laws. I mean,
so.
really, I'm not
And there's
making that
other
up.
errors involved, which would put it outside the realm. But as I'm to understand, almost without a doubt, all of his stuff was outside the United States. That's how he was receiving his payment for Social Security. That's where his YouTube money was going. That might be how he got out of the loophole of having a license and all of that, which was not legal. Being he had a 13A and he was permanently admitting he was living here, then he still needed to pay taxes here. He still needed to, and the same with her channel. If she's there or he's there and they're collecting all the Gcash stuff and PayPal stuff and all that based on the business, that's all supposed to be reported. It's really a sticky mess. So, but most people choose to take the shortest route possible.
Please pray to DJ. This is actually a good question. Hi guys, can life insurance in the U.S. cover a beneficiary based in the Philippines, or beneficiary should be based in the U.S.? No, should not be based in the U.S. The end. Anyway, um,
That's fine. I'll address it. Why not?
I don't know. There's, I don't know. There's a lot more important stuff. JJ Mark says it's not babysitting money, it's survivor benefit. It's proof dependent was established at the U.S. Embassy. The child was eligible for dependent benefit and now surviving dependent benefit 50% of his. I don't think it's
Let me see.
50% though.
I think the baby can get 75%,
Yeah.
but she won't. So they said it can be up to 75%. So
Yeah. Willie Shoemaker says I have life insurance in the USA and it can be passed on beneficiary in the Philippines. Correct.
mhm.
I triple check. She only need death certificate and valid ID or passport.
Right. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, when it happens. As a matter of fact, I think we had to show the probate thing for some reason, but I don't know why. Because I think it was listed in there as one of the assets was life insurance. Anything listed was a.
Tony Manning says she's gonna have a hard time finding another man with lots of Beanie Babies.
Yeah, I'm just reading through some of Texas Filipinos, but I think he's addressing just people that he's taking care of business. No, he does a lot of different things here. So
Margaret says I agree, George. Jen is a beautiful lady, very pretty. Ricky Ricardo says sick grandpa already has become the premier shock jock in the expat Filipino vlogs.
well, he has become one of them. So no doubt that man's got it going on.
Yeah, 111 says, as the saying goes, a failure to plan is planning to fail. Don't move to the Philippines without some cash reserves and an exit plan if necessary.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which one?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
I mean,
hey, Pee Wee Barnes. Good morning, Heidi and George.
good morning.
Holiday hugs and kisses. Hey, Pee Wee. Well, it says Free Barry J.
Yeah, Free Berry.
Free Barry J.
Uh,
Black Grandpa says, "Oh, Rick Ricards, I am George. We are all George." There you go. Yeah, talking about Zen. Anyway, Black Grandpa says you can't blame the wife. Mark was the best and only offer she got, and her family is dirt poor. Mark was a winning lottery ticket, and who in their right mind would refuse a winning lottery ticket? Right, nobody's gonna, turn it down. I mean,
yeah, even if it was at that level, that makes sense. So,
no,
I mean, even, she got to go travel and she was able to get a new car and all the things. He was still a winning lottery ticket. She was still somebody that she built a life with. So I bet they didn't think he was going this soon. But according to other sources, the heart surgery he had was either a triple or a quad bypass. And those only last like 10 something years. Some of that has to be replaced, geared up, medication taken, and it was a gamble. And some say that they were surprised he lasted this long. So it was really, so they both knew, just like I know tomorrow's not given for me. So it's
yeah,
it just seems like in every, it's a next day occurrence situation, but they will forget about you eventually. His son will remember him, his daughters will remember him. There's only going to be so many true people that are going to remember you, and then after that, even legends that are like superstars, they're eventually forgotten too. Even with the internet, they barely even get mentioned anymore.
followers and subscribers are not your friends. Some are. I mean, like again, like we correspond directly to through
Yeah.
some of them, but not all 20,000. 20,000 of them aren't really.
Yeah, someone said that he had 88,000 friends, and it's like
Those are not. They want you. That doesn't make them your friend.
and they get on there for different reasons. Could
Correct.
be the age gap thing, could be
the
because of
hate.
his wife, could be
You know?
yeah. And that's the same with our channel.
Right. Robin Mary says there are enough guys, simps, who are waiting to save someone. Her. My prediction is that 6 months, immediate problems will be solved. Filipinos don't want single mothers in general. Sorry, Violet, I had to laugh. Um, Violet says, "Free J. Irving, Jogoman Space Cowboy." Next one's gonna
Did he
be
ever get
yeah.
out?
Yeah, I was gonna say next one's gonna. Oh, right. No, yeah, we should check up on him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to address Texas Filipino if he's still in the room. He said all of these YouTube channels posting videos are riding the view train, and I just won't do it. I just looked on my TV the other day. I just looked on the TV, and others today are still doing it. Most have never met him, not once. Shame. And you're right. It's the YouTube game, and his wife shouldn't be on there either. None of us should be if they don't want to be talked about. Shame. You're just following the train of anybody else that says shame or being exploited. It's part of being on YouTube. And if she didn't, then she wouldn't have put out an additional video feeling she had to address. And just like any of the other ones that we covered, we're going to keep covering it as long as there's something to be covered. Shame, then I guess that's what it is. But if even one person picked something up off of this, then they actually did. So mostly what to do and what not to do based on this. And right now, the fact she went ahead and used his YouTube channel, Shame and what? Shame on her for using her husband's channel in advance. She has her own channel. She did it out of greed. And I'm just going to call that out. That's exactly where that is. And here you are on here addressing technically us in a room on people still continuing. There's only so many people still covering it, and I'm going to cover it because she's using her husband's channel. And I just hope legally she takes some advice. So this video is based on her taking some advice. So she needs to get her stuff together. So, and she should quit YouTube all the way around.
Well, I agree. I mean, it's really not a.
And first, you have to feel the shame. I'm too old for that. Way too old to know that what shame is, and rest in peace and let the man rest. The man is resting.
Well, we're not even talking bad about it.
Oh, you'll hear this over and over again. Comments, other channels comments about, people need to leave him alone and needs to rest in peace. And when I say that, I'm talking about the other channels that are also covering it, whether it's good or bad. Same comment. So it's like,
Right.
What was the other one? Damn Dude, I think, mentioned us, and a bunch of people are attacking him because he had the similar view. Damn Dude Philippines. I think he's here in Angel City. He kind of did a semi shout out to us. I think it's Regular Guy, to be honest. It's one of those channels. Did you think that was Regular Guy? But he was pretty much like us. She's using the tax dollars, and she married an older guy that's on her situation. He pretty much said it like it was too, and only a few of us. We don't have that kind of loyalty. Us, them, or a couple of the others just flat out said that. I get it, and that, I feel sorry for her and that she has to raise the kids, and all widows, she's not special. When George passes away, or I do, we're just going to be in the same boat. We're not financially ready either, but George is under no circumstance will come up on here asking people for, here's my Gcash and here's that, with a representative misdirecting her. So, or me, or she, or you got the point. So, I mean, I'm not ashamed. I'm too old for shame. Shoot. Donut, please. Donut me. You got shame, babe?
No. Well, I do, but
you do?
I do, but right now, no. Please donate $5 so I can feed one of these big giant donuts into Heidi's mouth for $5.
You have no shame.
I get to feed one of these donuts in Heidi's mouth.
The giant donuts.
Yes, correct. Giant donuts. These donuts are so big. I mean, look at them.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're
it's
so huge. Anyway,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to do the dancing wife things, or not going to go through with, the expat help is all played out, and the building houses is really played out, and all these things that the vloggers are doing. Everybody's on YouTube for different reasons. And I don't. If I just plucked her randomly, knowing she was living in somebody, let's say we just randomly plucked somebody that something happened over in Dumaguete out of the newspaper, and then we were all of a sudden just going at her and stuff. I don't think we'd be covering that right now. It's because he's in the expat, genre group, and the way she's going through and all that, and she should stay off. That's just where I'm at on that. Truth.
Yeah, now let's get serious again. For $5, Heidi will eat a donut and hum Jurassic Park song while she eats it, pretending to be a T-Rex.
For your funeral funds?
All right. Eric and Pinoy says system is automatic. Once they turn in the death certificate, it will stop his benefits. Jen will collect a percentage of his benefit, and the son will be entitled to survivor benefits. Correct. If, I said if, because we don't know 100% sure if everything is already in place.
Hold on. We'll stop the benefit in general.
Yeah, but it has to be everything in place already. We're not sure if everything's 100%.
Well, they're saying automatic with the death certificate. Everything just rolls over into her name. How's that even work?
No, I think they're talking about the benefits. I'm not talking about. They're talking about.
Yeah, his Social Security. So they're saying that with it, and he's already turned it in for his son's Social Security with a death certificate. They're saying it'll just roll over. I'm sure there's additional.
Oh no,
stuff that's
well, I mean,
added.
he has to turn paperwork in
Unless it's
still.
all, the death certificate. Okay, so it could be something that we don't know about. I mean, I'm not doubting that. So in other words, you're saying that being her name was listed as the mother with the death certificate, it just flips over. Okay, that's it's a possibility. So, but they'll still, she would still have to turn in the death
Well,
certificate.
and American-Filipino says when my son's mom died, Social Security called me within 3 weeks, and he was being paid within 90 days of her death. But this is the Philippines, though.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. Nanya Business says she already has a backup simp guaranteed.
Rumor has it. No, she just needs to focus on her and her son, but something tells me that it'll be overwhelming for her, and I wouldn't want to be in that position where all these guys that are from his channel or her channel or around her down there knows that she's a grieving widow. And even if there's announced any of the truth about the things going on over there, I bet you she's in a relationship pretty quick. And I'm sure she's like, how dare her even say that? Well, she doesn't even know what's coming up. Again, experience tells me different. So
Laura says, so what do women over 30 do to survive? Good question. Normally, okay, again, this is from just real quick, Laura, because
wait a minute.
normally a woman finds a man to,
Hold on,
again, to
sweetie.
technically support her during these times, because sadly, this is the reality.
Yeah, 1 second here.
Yeah. Okay. Black Grandpa says, yeah, over 30 in Asia, especially China, you're considered to be leftover woman in the West. It's called hitting the wall. Yes.
Yeah.
After 30 years old, you're old news here in the Philippines.
Yeah, the pads are right there. Poor baby.
Reality.
Hold on, sweetie. The dog's got to go to the
reality.
bathroom. Yeah. Here, sweetie. On top of right there. Right there on top of the box. Careful. There might already be, right there where you're standing, could be already something there. All right. Do what? Of course. A Filipina with brains will marry and have a child with an American Social Security pensioner to secure her future. Paul is great. Gotcha. I don't know about that. I mean, I guess I mean, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. But that would be great if it's just that easy that, with a death certificate, that'll help quite a bit. So that might be what Paul was explaining. It's not that I was 100% doubting it, but that would make sense if that can be done.
Okay. Hooch says, I see lots of women over 30 working, maybe not a grocery store, bar, but somewhere else. Well, that's the thing.
Victoria.
You can't find corporate work kind of deal, or even little mom and pop stores don't
Well,
they
there
tend
are
not
the
to hire
calls,
older ones.
right? But here's the deal now, which makes it easier. There are online and call centers, and there are online jobs. I'm sorry, there are a bunch of them now where they can do the call centers online. That is a newfangled way of making money. Victoria's trying to get me stuffed 3 times.
Huh?
Victoria, what are you doing?
Trying to make sure I can get back. Thank you so much, Victoria. Appreciate it. Oh,
That's 3 of them.
okay. Well, we said
I'm
it.
going to give it to you.
No, I
Why?
said Heidi. You have to do the humming and pretend like a T-Rex. All right, go.
Can we do 3 at the same time?
It's a really tall order, literally.
Maybe just one at a time.
Where's your You said 3 at a time.
Well, just
Make
put
up your
one in at a
mind.
time. You
Okay,
can't
then.
stack them that way.
Well, that's what you said. You said 3 at the same time. All right, so do it. Okay. No, we have to do that. The dinosaur arms. Nah, there's 2.
I need the little hands, is what I need.
Right.
Get on with it. I don't have a day.
You're the one not opening your mouth. All right, 1, 2.
It's got the sparkles on it. No, that's not for you, Mom.
I'm waiting on you.
No,
Waiting on you.
I'm done with all the damn
Chew faster. Chew fast enough that little sprinkles come out of your nose. 2 mini donuts. 3 mini donuts. What?
Not like that. Just don't do it, woman. That's my advice to her.
Oh, dang. Tony Manning says the only reason he had the baby was because he wanted a bigger Social Security check, just like Monty Crew. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Expat Forever agrees. Correct. That's what expats do here.
We did put a video out about making extra money. Shame on us for putting a video out.
Oh, dang. Canada Math says Jen married an old dying man because she wanted to get his pension and then had a baby to get more from the USA. Wow.
And she said she's not good at math, huh? Sounds like she knew math then. Because she said in her video she was calculating, not being able. I got this percentage, 10% or 10 cents for getting rice, and me going to school and the trike and all of this and blah blah blah. This is what I had left, but I'm not very good at math. You marry for love the first time and money the second, but she wasn't married before. And I would agree on that, but that's not what happened with me and not for everybody. Matter of fact, none of the times. Right? I would not say always, but wow, I didn't know Mark had 2 other children. Yes, they're in the UK. I thought it was 1 son, so I was wrong on that. It's 2 daughters. One supposedly had just gotten married. I could be wrong that there was a marriage.
Yeah, Laura says it will be all he's got, all he has of his father. To even hear his voice is even more than some have. True. This is true. Well, and they get to see him too. Well, not, on the screen, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, some of us are doers, some of us are shakers. That's fine to put up Texas Filipino. That's not a direct stab. We watch some of his videos.
Yeah, but he's not talking. He's talking to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's some good advice. Some people are doers and shakers, and you only have so much time on this earth. And we mention that every time we do a video, guys. Believe me, if I was just going to sit and rag, I'm going to really rag. You guys have no idea. This usually comes along. We sit here and discuss topics and everything else. And this whole YouTube thing is also for YouTubers that are coming here and not doing it properly. You all require license when you receive money. Any payment that comes in, you receive money. You're supposed to be paying taxes in the Philippines. You're building in the Philippines. You living in the Philippines. Let's hope you have your business license and everything in order. That's the first lesson. The other is what happens to the channel when you pass away. It's not for Jen to take over right away. And the other part is she really needs to just get an attorney and stop listening to all of the guys over there that are giving her money and coddling and holding her and all this extra stuff they've been doing. I think she's caught up in the glitter right now. She can get offended with that all she wants. More truth is that really that girl needs somebody. She needs her sister. She's got two sisters. As I'm to understand, one doesn't have the kid, and the other one did have a kid. Although sometimes getting advice from your family can be the worst.
She needs legal representation to get affairs in order, and anybody will agree with me on that one.
Yeah, that's
Now,
what she really needs some money for.
There's actually a reason why we started this channel and why we do this channel. Well, actually, no. The reason involved to why we're still running this channel. And here's the thing. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of people say it's us, which I, again, obviously disagree.
We sometimes do not
Well,
have all the information, but we do try
for
to
the
get
most
the
part,
best we
we're
can,
usually up to date. Keyword up to date.
or
Now, for
as thorough
instance,
as it can be.
when we say something like, you know how long we've been saying, whatever you guys do, make sure that you tell Social Security where you're at. You think we're making that up? And a lot of people are, oh no, don't listen to. Actually, when you call Social Security
somebody
now,
else said don't
it
do it.
actually says, please tell Social Security your current location. Blah, blah,
And
blah,
update is international.
Correct.
Someone just told them. They said whatever you do, don't do it. And they left that on the channel, and I left it there. That's up for everybody to listen to the next person and the next person on it. And he said the reason that a lot of guys won't inform Social Security of where they're at is because it messes up their paychecks or their checks. Like their payment, their pay. I call it paycheck. Ooh, their payment going into the bank,
but
and that's
it
how they
doesn't
get.
mean that's not.
What it is they don't have an updated address.
They're too
not getting
lazy
the
to go
proof.
through the legal route.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's the proof of life thing. When they don't get that letter, and because they haven't updated them an address or they're living somewhere where they're not getting it, then their check gets cut off. So the guy was advising him, don't tell them that,
Yeah.
you guys really need to check it out.
Well, you don't have to. Just call Social Security. You'll hear that message, actually. So just saying. Anyway, and John Jones says again, this is why I brought that up, is you two are just experts on everything, aren't you? Actually, we're not. If only other people knew how to use the internet.
That is probably John.
Actually, here's the thing. Incorrect. The biggest lie there is the internet. Don't believe me? A lot of things on the internet is fake, false, wrong, and actually
including the YouTube channel.
And actually it's even getting worse. First off, most of the things about the Philippines, as far as legal things to do, are way off. They're like either really way off, or really old, or does not apply in your location. This is why I always say things about the Philippines when it comes to how to do things, that kind of deal. Most of it is wrong online. But guess what? You know what I'm learning even more now?
Oh, we have. Speaking of know-it-all, David Z entered the room finally. I was wondering where he would come in. He's actually saying that beings that's here in the Philippines, his son does have the full rights to the stuff.
Anyway, again, what I'm getting at is, again, now it's worse, and you're like, what are you talking about? Now the information in the internet is getting worse. And what are you saying? You keep saying that because of AI.
Right.
AI lies.
Right. So
constantly.
Right. So let's say where I was saying something that I thought was right, and then later I corrected it. They had already taken that information and they'll keep giving it out, and you're thinking it's the most updated. Wrong. So it's just copying.
And I've seen a few AI things on Google, and I was like, that's not right. I kept reading it over and over, like, that's not right. Point being, now, guys, be more careful on what you disseminate in the internet because of AI. AI lies constantly. It's the word. I don't get it. It's a freaking robot. Well, okay, you're like, well, isn't AI not supposed to lie? It's a robot, right? Incorrect. You know why? Right and wrong is a human thing. AI doesn't know what's lying. It doesn't. It just tells you what you want to hear.
Yeah. Further down, David Z says Heidi is completely off base about digital rights. If his wife is the executor, she can handle his property without his death certificate. right? She
Okay,
can't sell
sorry.
it, but she
That's
can
okay.
operate the channel. How is she operating
No,
the
she can't.
channel
She
without
can't.
making
She
contact?
cannot. She cannot. Can't. Yeah, operate as in leave it alone. I guess if that's what you're saying by operate
I
it.
don't
But
know, but people have to be informed. She still has to inform somebody per
well,
death
the
certificate. Well, maybe.
everything
Well,
under the channel has to be changed.
right. Let's assume that's what she's done already. So if she did that, and I kind of went through this. If he did all of that, and she's changed everything up, including the AdSense, which requires a bank to be attached to it for payment, and she dropped his off of there, being she's got paperwork, then yes,
We're
there's
not
ways
saying
of
she
doing.
can't do it, but you can't. It's not
None of us
instantaneous.
really know, but
It's
this is
not
just
automatic.
advice.
It's not
And this video is just not for her direct. This is for anybody else that goes through and
right.
do this. And we don't know. Was there a full will? Okay, it's because secondly he comes in afterwards. We love David Z. The key point is you cannot disinherit children in the Philippines. 50% of the property passes to the children, regardless of what the will would say. Okay, well that would be
Which
money.
again, you're actually contradicting yourself because now that involves the other children.
Correct, which would own the channel too. So the
Correct.
money, everything. But
I was actually trying not to say that because I didn't want to complicate things. But since you mentioned it, I was well aware of that. But now you're contradicting yourself because now legally she cannot operate that channel without the other children involved. But I didn't want to overcomplicate things. I didn't want to muddy the water. I was keeping shut. I was like, you know what?
I'm not sure who this David Z is, but like he was a total professional on
No, no.
the other one. He's saying
But
that he put a video out already.
but again, that's what I'm saying. Now you're contradicting yourself by saying, well, you
If
can't
you,
disinherit children. Correct. That includes the other two children. But again, I didn't bring that up because I didn't want to muddy the water, make things too like, wait, he's right. There's other two children. Right. Thank you. Now, technically, she really shouldn't be touching the channel without the other two children involved.
okay, so David here is saying, if you guys really want to know how Heidi feels, why you got it gunning for me, sucker? What's the deal? Because he doesn't mention you, he mentions me, which puts you in a category of your fake account being about 3 people that I know of. Because you always address me, even if George does say something. Yeah, you know what, David Z, right in front of everybody, you can go create another account. So I'm really, so if people want to go see, I told you I don't have to be nice to nobody. You want to get into the business of what Mark was really like. I'm not trying to hide any of that. Whether I like him or dislike him, know him or ain't been there or whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. Find your own channel. Go start your own channel. Okay, you've been in here long enough. Go start another. Go start another one and come back in. So it's strange. He did that to us, and the only reason I left you in here was for the algorithm. Not that your opinion really mattered, but thank you. It's the only reason. So, next. He didn't exploit Filipinas in bikinis. The only woman he ever had on his channel was his wife. I said other channels. I didn't say directly his channel. But he did on his relationship and age gap and the whole relationship itself. The whole point is if she doesn't like any of the game, then she can just get out of the game. So that's true.
Um, Dan says his apartment was not such a good deal for 30. He paid 30K for that.
Well, here's the thing. He told people it was free. So I've heard all kinds of stories. He said or others said, and then I heard the 30,000 amount. So that would have seemed high too. Not sure any of the above. But if it was 30,000 versus free, see, I thought I heard him say, could be mistaken, that he said that he was watching the place or doing things, and so he was getting free rent. He knew I know they had interviewed the daughter Of his wife interviewed the daughter of the owner of the house at some point. I know he knew the people, but I didn't know it was 30,000. We had heard something about that, but I thought he was getting it free.
Hey George, how you doing?
No, he was going. What's his name was going on and on about. Sorry, just because you have the paper and something digital and all that, there are still legalities of Google, and we're sure of that. I can't strain enough that even if Mark wrote it in papers, it's yours to take over. Does she have the tax? Is she even doing it legally on her own channel? Do you have your business license? Are you going to add all of that for the business license? And it is, especially with her being a Filipino, she needs to be paying taxes on that digital money she's collecting, including Gcash. All of this, guys, is about having a licensing here. It's not all just you can put gift all you want on this stuff, but she's collecting it online. There are people watching. Understand that. I am not the only one watching. There's a really, I'd like to forward these emails that we're receiving.
Robbie
You'd
Rose
probably be
says
really interested in the emails.
Rogan cruise lines sound good. Okay, hold on. This is okay. So this is a three-part. RV says one viewed some of every man's vids. Later part of the lockdown. Wondered at some point of this live, but I get it. Mark started his channel before he and Jen Ergo Philippine Ethics Point not use Mark's channel for her own. So basically RV saying that that's Mark's channel.
Yeah, I
Two,
don't know why she's not using hers.
right. Regardless of character, etc. Mark worked his channel, therefore Jen must work on hers. In her own vision and voice, not hijack every man is what was about just because of her access. Correct.
They said it was a quad bypass. Yeah, he had 10 years
Yeah.
maybe. So he had already hit that 10-year mark. And she knew that. She would have had to know that.
Right. Three, and that Jen must do due
Their
diligence,
diligence.
correct, with regards to YouTube channel, proper documentation, etc. Most have and do and not use it for her own as her donation platform or other.
And
Correct.
this is the messages we're receiving.
This is true. These are all
different.
These are bullet points that RV again
Right.
reinstated. Yeah.
Right. So I'll repeat it again. If he was running any ads, which to me it looks like he was running some ads. If he's running any ads, that's a different account. Okay. If he had AdSense, which he did, and they say the money was going to the United States into a bank account, that has to be closed. So basically, if the will and probate or whatever is done in the Philippines, when it's decided that's so with the death certificate, she needs to submit it to them. Okay. And that last check so if they already deposited $500, $600, $700, $800 this month, that money's probably as good as gone. I don't know how they're going to try to withdraw that unless the brother goes down there with a bank card and tries to do something, whatever way. I can't even begin to imagine how that's going to happen. But any money that would, let's say she gets that cut off, that next check she can go ahead and try to get with the death certificate. And she has to file that, and that's still up to them to make all that decision as a final heir. And that's if the ex-wife doesn't get involved and they want part of that $800 for the kids there for whatever reason. So when that's decided, then she can do that. Then YouTube itself, they're all under the same parent company or all of that stuff. YouTube itself, just because your Gmail has a setting as an inactive person, all that, it still didn't give her the right to the channel, which you're allowed to buy, sell, and give a channel, no doubt. But there's still a form of legality. He has to be removed off of there. Right now, he's not been removed off of there. Therefore, it's still Mark's channel, which means she is operating under her husband's channel. And actually,
right. And to clarify, when Heidi says, even though it's the same company, it's the same company, but it's not.
Right. So,
It doesn't.
there is Google that owns YouTube, that owns AdSense, that owns
They are
Google Ad. It's
all
just
have their
called,
own.
actually, there's another name for it. It's called Ad Space or something, which is
Right.
Google Ads. I think it's called
They're all
Ad Space
separate entities, technically.
under Google.
Under Google,
But
correct.
she would still have to deal with all three. And this isn't for Jen. So get off the high horse rock for whoever's like, oh my God, she's
Right.
attacking again. This is for anybody out there, just like the previous one that had them in the title and the other one. I already gave my advice. Get you an attorney and deal with things and stop listening to all these YouTube attorneys and Facebook advice thing,
And
including
again,
us.
internet.
Get
Forget
yourself
internet.
together.
It's getting worse.
And I would just get off of YouTube. Get off of this thing of I get you need finances. I mean, you're going on about how everything is good and you had to address. No, you didn't have to do nothing, none of that. It's all a bunch of whatever. And if you continue and do this channel and keep putting your son in the videos like you did on your channel, and you have been doing that, this is all bad. Keep your kid off of YouTube. Keep you and your kid off of YouTube. If this little bit has turned you and you're getting all upset about it, then I would get off. Someone gave me advice a long time ago about that. And ever since then, you can't tell me nothing. You can't stop this train. That's where I'm at on that one. So I would I just don't, a money. Yeah. And it's a whole different thing that he did interviews and that there is no guarantee then people are going to stick around. I mean, and if they do, we know what that is. That just turned into 88,000 watchers, turned into 88,000 gawkers. That's true.
All right.
I mean, I'm just going to put some harsh truths out there. You look like you did the interviews in the beginning and then you went to sitting around with your son and talking and holding him and all that. You stopped your interviews because I don't know why you did it. But if you just continue to do your everyday life, them numbers will drop substantially. So it's something you have to know all the insides out of YouTube, the analytics, how you're going to do it, the content. I've seen perfectly good content that was cinematic, well done, and everything, only getting 1,000 views. So,
Right.
good luck on that. The game has changed.
Hey, Bisan Kano, how you doing?
Hey,
Sarah Tyson,
Sarah. Good
hello,
morning.
Roommates. Our
Didn't
Philippine
even
journey
catch you in
says
there.
in Arizona and Texas, a will negates the requirement for probate. That being said, anyone can contest anything and tie it up. And probate does not discount the laws at business, licenses, etc.,
Right,
etc.
like you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in some states, in Florida, we had to file it with the courts, but he just said 2 states, right? Is that what
Yeah,
you just read
Arizona
it?
and yeah,
So 2 of the states you can just use the
Texas.
will and the death certificate to take over. Yeah, I don't
Well,
think he
but
was.
like I said, we're he's talking about the probate thing. If again, but the probate doesn't. You still have to do the other legalities.
Yeah, I don't think she had the death certificate. I don't care how fast things move. I know it takes a while to get stuff here. That is possible. The kid qualifies for benefits, but Jen is sold. Okay. According to them, they said she'll get a check for raising him, but like I said, my sister didn't. But I did clearly read that a spouse taking care of a child under 18 will get some benefits. I have not only confirmed where one person said that somebody else in the Philippines was, but it's hard saying. Besides that, 60 and the wife has to be over 60 and married for 9 months. Living in the U.S. wouldn't have been the issue or something at that point.
Right. Now, Philip Macy says Jen should sell Mark's channel. It might be worth it for someone with some skills to pick it up. Now, here's the thing.
Yes, and it will take that.
Can she sell it? Yes,
Mhm.
but the proceeds from that sale, that's a different story.
Now, I just want to give you another bit of advice now that that was mentioned and I left that out. There are companies online that work. You can do it yourself, but with what you're going to sell it for, Jim, versus, and that's if you're still watching, ever watch this, or any of your other little cat friends over there watching, that there are companies that sell and buy the accounts and do that, and their brokers in between, kind of like the houses, and they'll get the best money for you. It could be worth 50,000, could be worth 100,000. It does determine the numbers, but here's the thing: they will hard line and go in after your analytics. If somebody's hanging in for 9-10 minutes, and they'll go by how many checks, if he had any sponsorships, all this will matter. Okay, what it is, and then yes, you can outright sell it. If anything, I would do that and hold on to your channel and get back into what you're doing. You did start to have a following, but I would do things like, like you were already doing. Get other Filipinas, interview them, bring them on, and do all what you were doing. I would not. But I already said you probably should get out of the game all the way around. But if you're going to, that would be the ideal. So, but I would get out. If you're already upset because of what we said and others did, and what sympathies you are and aren't getting, then it's going to take a lot more than that. And especially after I seen the emails that came in yesterday, that's and to me it seems like that's coming from the other side of the pond and some of the other enemies out there right now. And it's like, yeah, we'll spare that part of the situation. Not even going to go for the alleged stuff right now, because that was just really wicked what they wrote. I'm not even sure where that came from.
Right. Now, not being political,
People.
Steve says Trump is going to stop this overseas payments for children overseas.
Yeah, someone said, and that's when I did see some article about that, and I read some stuff in the government sites, or like I say government site. We're talking about, could be Facebook forums. I've been reading different things, and that's what I meant by the tax dollars, and it really offended some people. Not a whole lot, because they probably know that it sticks, that it is tax money. It is still a Social Security tax. And to pay her to be her own son's babysitter when she should be, to begin, when they said that it's to watch their kid, I think that's kind of insane. But, and especially, I get it, and maybe that's why she says, oh, I've been with Mark for 5 years and blah blah. Time frame really has no, or how much you love him, or how long you sat without food. It just seemed little drastic. Is it drastic or dramatic? Not drastic, it would be dramatic. How I get it. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you the things that we do for relationships, or that other women have done, when their husbands were in the hospital. I get it. It's part of life. And just where it is.
Joyce Slipper says Heidi's correct. Find a Filipino her own age and not an old expat.
I doubt it. I really doubt
I mean,
it.
I agree, but I doubt it too.
Yes.
And I don't mean that being in a bad way. I'm just saying, cause
Yeah, but I said I almost bet your hat and your shoes that it's already been in the stars about the guys that know. And it's not that we're not saying she's not a good person or she's not beautiful enough. She seems to be a great person. And the thing is the part of just another expat and the issues that can come. You can address the video thing. How long does a video make money? Is that what that was? How long does a YouTube video make money? It can make money forever, but it doesn't make very much. Even some of our videos that had high numbers, you're only going to make, I don't know, $1 a month maybe on them, if that. And we have, how many videos do we have now? Yeah, there's no way we're making that, because if we made $1 per video each month in residuals, we would automatically get $1,000 a month. So no, we're not. So nothing would be the answer. Little to nothing. Right now, with all of our videos replaying and all of our stuff, the highest checks we're getting is $300 a month. That's all together. Okay, and that's pre-taxed. They're giving less and less money. I just seen that, not Island Barbie, but that other one that we watch, 8 Miles from Home. And one of their Christmas videos they've got almost 400,000 subscribers, and they only got 13,000 views for it. And I'm like, they're not even giving them 5% anymore. So usually there's a level of percentage that watch, or they're feeding an algorithm through. I think it's down to about 2% of people are watching. And then when it comes to personal videos, it can go down to about 1% of your viewers. So it's really a rough game now, and the game changed again this year. So Nothing. My guess is, if I had to guess what he's going to make on those videos, could be $50 a month, maybe on residuals. And then it's supposed to be paying taxes. Who's going to pay the taxes and get all that settled is another.
Yeah, and again, just remember, regardless of who you are or what you are, everybody's opinion varies. For example, literally right next to each other, says Jim says the mother is eligible as caretaker. Rock
Yeah, that's right.
says mother in this case is not eligible. Again,
I wonder
remember
why.
there's
Yeah, they
other.
said there's other qualifications because my sister Jennifer did not. There was only a check for her daughter, but wonder what makes her not eligible because my sister didn't get one. She was working. Was it because she was working and had an income of her own? It's possible. So, and if the child's still in school, that maybe it's just until the kid gets physically in school. I don't know. I don't know what there'll be something that qualifies her or not. So, but she will get some sort of money, that is for sure.
Um,
Disney box.
says
Hello.
you guys should be making a lot more money since YouTube is killing me with all the commercials they're putting on your channel. I'm not blaming you guys, but it's a lot. It has nothing to do with us.
Well, there is a way, okay? There's a way to put way more, and then there's a way to do way less. So we do not hit the high end one. We make sure that it says limited interruptions, and I'm not buying that because even if you're not monetized, they're still going to throw commercials on you guys.
Well, like I said, like the regular channels I used to watch have more ads on them now.
Mm-hmm. So, and the free ones, it doesn't matter. It used to be when we started years ago that they didn't put them on you unless you were monetized. Now everybody has them, and I always tell
Yeah,
people
back. Yeah, put it
to
this way:
get the
when
YouTube
we
Premium.
started, when me and Heidi started, if you're not monetized, you don't get commercials at all.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but now, whether you're monetized or not, they throw in those commercials.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now, if you're monetized, you get extra
Speaking of
commercials.
monetization, check it out. I got 3 donuts that I'll shove in George's mouth for sticker money. Hey, look, there's a nice green one. 'Cause I'm not eating more. We got 3 donuts left. Heart attack alley. What was? I'm just curious on. Dum, dum, dum.
Um,
I'm gonna
Michael
shove.
says, "I wonder if survivor benefits will have to be split with other daughter." Well, with the 3 children, I mean
Well,
total,
yeah. There's
it's
the
two
son and 2
children.
daughters.
Oh wait,
Well,
yeah, the
he's
son,
got.
right,
There.
right, Rogan and the 2 daughters,
Right,
right,
and that's
right.
where I slipped up the other
Three.
day. I
There's
said he
three
had a son
total.
and a daughter in the
Well,
UK. He has 2 daughters in the
but they're
UK.
probably old now. So
Yes, they are.
yeah, so
Yeah, so the benefits
it
won't, but
doesn't.
anything
Yeah,
else that as far as what's it called? Um yeah, it says won't Jen get a percentage of his benefits? She's not eligible. The kid will get a benefit, yeah. But they said there's something that she qualified for. Um if Jen lived in the USA, I'm not sure she will get anything for not living. And that's what I heard is benefits will not be given because she didn't live in the US. See, that's why they said some of the not always why the expats go back to the Philippines. Ah, thank you. I do need some
thank
coffee.
you so much for the coffee, Sarah.
Oh, here, hold up. We got to thank you, Sarah. Time for this will keep you quiet. Oh, Rick, come on. Come on, I know you got a big mouth. Open up. I seen that hole on Walking Street. I seen that hole this morning.
It's only for professional use only. Oh my god.
Now say your opinion. What you got to say about me?
Hmm?
I know what you said about me before this live stream started.
Mm-hmm.
This household really needs to get off the steroids. Gee, right.
Dang, Tony,
Tony!
you really have my mouth full.
I bet she will too. I need some water. What the heck happened to water? Oh, I did have a water.
Dang, total disaster. Mark Billy Bob Thornton. I love Billy Bob Thornton.
God, did you see him lately though? That just brings. Did you guys see like Madonna too? It just when you see people like Madonna and Billy Bob Thornton, you always envision them like we do ourselves being super young, and then you see him on. Yeah, it's like wow. Just seeing her on stage the other day, and I'm like, oh, she's aging too. Oh snap! Who will get her pregnant again?
That's the
I
ongoing.
think so. Yeah, I think.
Oh,
Oh wow! Hey Mike? Is that you? Somebody's called a white knight. Remember we used to say the white knight's coming after the pea. Uh oh. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mike. MYK Mike. Hey, Tony Manning says, if she spread his ashes, isn't that against it all? Isn't her requirement?
Oh, I don't know. I know that you're not allowed to
It's
throw
well,
ashes out in the
it's
Philippines.
well, even in the U.S., you're not really allowed to.
I've done it.
Okay, everybody does it, but doesn't mean it's
I
legal.
was smoking on
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain
In
High,
fact, in the
and then I dumped
Philippines,
ashes.
just real quick, guys, when you cremate somebody and you have their urn, you can only keep the urn in the house for 1 year. After that, you have to turn it. You have to have it buried or put it in a mausoleum, or else.
And let me remind you for people the height of Mark Thornton and all that, he'll have to have a custom coffin if they're not going to cremate him at his height. And my height and size cremation is, I'm pretty much just going to say it's out of the question right now. But height alone may actually say that. So I'd be checking into your guys' dreams of cremation. And just because I'm super big and like, I'm also super tall. So even at my smallest, my height would have been, with me being 6 foot, it does make a difference on the crematoriums. And right now, most of them saying I'm too, I think they're being nice when they say I'm too tall, but they're just being nice, aren't they? When they, ma'am, you're too tall. So, oh, come on. Just say that I'm too big too to really get in there. But when it comes to the coffins, it would definitely have to be. So really, there's not a whole lot of, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? You're not, hold on. She's about to get this donut. I can see that coming right now.
Jim says, wow, Memorial has pics of Jen and baby, but none of the older kids.
The memorial.
Dan says she is smart. She will never work a day in her life.
Well,
Except,
she's already, I mean, which here's the thing, I'll be honest on this. Even if she got 1,500 a month, the prices are going up here. She's still going to be hard pressed. I'm just letting you guys know we still blow through X amount of money a month, and I mean, I guess if she truly lives Filipino, she'll be okay. But the life she was living with Mark will not exist at 1,000 a month. So,
American and Pinoy says, okay, one.
hey, look, Mike, I got a Chihuahua.
It's not a chihuahua.
It's a Chihuahua.
One, Social Security, if you're paid 1,000 on a 30-day period and you pass on the 15th day of the month, once Social Security learns of the death, they will request the bank return $750 back. Two, my brother died in November and I had to help his daughter out because she took the money and needed to return it.
Right. So supposedly the money's going in the US. I hope nobody advised her to take his card with a pin and go grab that money. That would be really, because you guys think we're rough. There are people that are probably watching her like a hawk. Okay. Again, according to the emails that we received, I'm sure even if she is the grieving widow, YouTube is a really wicked world. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And so I hope that would be something she wouldn't do. So, and people do take that chance, yes. So that's what I mean, including doing what she did with the YouTube channel. I'm still telling you, I found out yesterday what she did is not proper. She should have used her channel. I have no idea. They thought because there were bigger numbers. I get if he said she could have it. Yeah, as soon as she switches the AdSense, the emails, and she has proof of that, and turns in the death certificate to Google and let him know he passes, then someone it makes it legal. Besides that, it just becomes
Yeah,
another
nobody
mess.
said that they, she can't
Can't
have
do it in a
it.
certain way.
She just has to go through the ropes.
Right.
That's it.
Hey, Bruce, what's up?
Hey, Bruce. Hi, Heidi and George. Everyone, good
Will you
morning.
drop Mop It off at the salon today? You need to go get your job. J-O-B.
CBGB says, Mark Thorne's greatest hits. The ocean is right outside my window. I can throw a rock and hit it. You too can be like me.
Well, I told George, I said, and I'm just going to speak of that video. I found it to be an odd video because it seemed like I'm just going to call them the Flintstones. The Flintstones just went on about what a good friend he was with Mark. Like that was the whole thing, is trying to prove what a best buddy he was. And he went on and on and on and on and on. And I'm like, okay, was there any more points they were going to make that were lies besides, hey, my feelings are hurt? Unfortunately, his life was great and he was living his best life. It is not for everybody. I still think he was still coding it. And like I say, the other ones are coding it. And it's the sad reality is there's enough kids here left behind. And that check is not going to be enough money, babe.
Okay.
The money is not going to be enough to live on. The most she's going to get is 1,000. He said his check was at 1,300. Even at 75%, without trying to figure it out, he's looking at about $900, $800. That's not for two people. You can say, "Oh, that's just you as an American that can't live on that, and that's more money." But it's hard for Filipinos to live on that money these days.
Yeah. Victoria says, if ads come on, it's great for channels if you allow them to run, especially to support anyone's channels you watch. And the likes help too. I give likes to channels. I'm not subscribed.
Yeah, we do the same. Yeah, there's a lot of times we watch. Thank you, Victoria. We watch other channels and we usually don't always comment. We do the thumbs up and we sit through the commercials and everything. We just don't always comment.
Okay. I'm going to repeat myself here. It is illegal to get rid of ashes, aka human remains, other than burying them. BH in Bayou City says they said they got a permit in advance to spread his ashes. You cannot get said permit because you cannot even get rid of the ashes. You can't even keep the ashes for longer than a year in your house in the Philippines.
They got a permit. Who was there another video that came out? Did somebody mention like they had more information about this?
Regardless of where he got this information from, point being, no. You can. The fact that you can't even keep the ashes in an urn in your house after a year, tells you something.
I'd be curious how they cremated him. He wasn't exactly the smallest
guy.
He's 6'4".
No. They. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's what they're referring to.
Somehow it was brought in the discussion, but no, I didn't say they cremated him.
Well, I mean, I would still be curious if that's who they're referring to.
Oh, no. Somebody said they wanted to spread his ashes or something.
Right, but
again, that cannot be done in the Philippines. You're not allowed to do that in the U.S. You're especially not allowed to do that here in the Philippines, especially because that constitutes human remains, and you cannot even keep it in your house for longer than a year.
Actually, I'd be curious to start calling some places in Dumaguete to find out and give them a size and a basic idea of weight if they would actually do it, or if he checked into all of that, because I assume they could do me no matter what, because I assume that they were going to, but they're not going to do that. And then maybe if they're paid well, maybe, but
right. Bruce Davis, see, that's the thing, Bruce.
She does. She's got almost 8,000.
Jen has her own channel. Yes, she does. That's the argument. Is again, she could have just made that video, put it on her channel, not involve Mark's channel.
They still would have helped her. They would have known to go there.
Correct.
She could have made possibly even a community post on his channel to say, hey, he passed on, and then left it at that. But no, she uploaded to his video, which changed the whole thing. But she still needs to. Hey, Geechee Lion. Good morning, sweetie. Hope you're having a good morning.
Hey, Geechee.
Guys, check out Geechee Lion's channel. Been a long timer with us. But There's legalities to the whole thing. I get it. She should have used her channel. Maybe we could be wrong. The same with everything else. They claim that we're wrong, that they're just guesses, and that we don't know that she's already done all that already before she did that. I would hope that's what the Flintstones told her. So, oh, hey, Bob. What's up, Bob? I'm a beast. You got that right. You only think I'm a beast because the truth hurts. What are you, a guy with a young Filipina, or what? Are you a Mark fan? Are you John? Are you one of those? Who knows? But I know I am. When George says something, I'm like, yep, I know. Yeah, too old. Next. George, am I a beast? Add an I
Sorry,
in there.
not um.
Well,
Never
ask
mind.
him about this morning.
I was thinking of something else, and that's why I
Yes.
laughed. But
Yes,
anyway,
he's
yeah.
thinking about this morning. She's a beast. Look at, speaking of monster, look at this monster here. What you doing? She found one of my cards where I made points for Jen this morning on what she should do. Like stay out of the game and make sure she's checking into everything, getting an attorney. And she got the card on the floor and Mary's eating it up.
Leonard says he did several videos saying he was paying $600
Okay.
a month for
So
rent.
then he did. He wasn't getting the free rent. It was 30,000 pesos. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, she can live on 50,000,
but
which
he says that his rent did go up.
and yes, you can, but the cost right now, that's all Filipinos complained about, is how the prices. We know the price has gone up. Me as an American expat, George as a Filipino, and our fellow Filipinos. They just did street interviews with people over Christmas. A lot of them just had rice and fish. The inflation is really, really going up. Filipinos, a percentage were grateful for their health and family and that they had some jobs. But besides that, a lot of them had to go without because of the cost and stuff. So it is, everything is going up. Like I can't even begin to tell you, and I mostly go by the food factor. Like phones are cheap, this is cheap. What's up? What are you? Well, I don't know where you're at on that. I can go to the bottom and start addressing people. Let's see. T.Y. Michael, your message got held by YouTube. Old Paul likes showing off baby May in a bikini. And by the way, I just want to address, if I see him here, they're getting held by for multiple reasons. But someone the other day was like, "Oh my God, you keep holding my message." No, sometimes YouTube, if
No,
we can't see
YouTube
him at all, there's no
most of the time
opportunity.
automatically, yeah.
There's 3 different stages YouTube will take them. Sometimes YouTube just takes them all the way together. Then they're held based on our word list, and then there's the ones where just being held based on YouTube being holding them. Kid Manila, expats are weirdos from America loners that want ladyboys and kids in Filipinas, and degrading. They degrade them for. I am put the word love, but he put SX. But yeah. It's we said the island of misfit the other day and said some things in the title was not addressing Mark. His photo was in there, but it wasn't exactly, you know, I don't know where you're at on that.
No.
What's that?
What do you mean? That's the bottom.
How come I'm seeing more?
Well, you'll see more updated. There's a lag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lag. I mean, I don't know what else you're seeing.
All right, Bob. Have a nice day. All right, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. So we just wanted to address the YouTube thing and that Jen really needs to go back to her channel, and that, Filipinas really should reconsider whether they're going to have kids with older expats and all the stuff that we put out today. So there's a lot of people today, so we're just going to say our goodbyes. No, there's been no Elliot Eastman, and that's probably it. The whole region will go hush. And also, I think that's another thing Jen and the crew over there got upset about. And my harshness is things will go on, and Mark will quickly be forgotten as an expat YouTuber and all that. And it's once the chatter stops or there's nothing really going on, it'll just die down. Okay. And so it's hey, thank you so much, gentlemen
Hey,
X.
gentlemen, thank you so
Oh
much.
yeah. Let's see. Sorry I missed you guys when I was there. Okay, yeah, there's a few people we have not hooked up with right now. I still owe you guys a cheap bastard, but Poppy. Oh, well then you're gonna have to buy the steak then, or at least some chicken wings. So thank you so much, gentlemen X.
Oh, they did? They discontinued? No, no, no. The reason why I said they did, because I did like walk by Poppy's when I was doing Red Planet, and they still had it then. But yes, well, to be honest with you, nobody,
Oh, check it out. You lucked out. George can
people
have the
were
last.
probably weren't buying it. To be honest with you.
There you go. George got the last donut. We got donuts. Another in donut honor of Mark and our health here.
And the
So
reason why I say that is, by the time you pay for the cheap bastard, you might as well get a better meal for 50 pesos more. You know.
well, here's the thing, guys. Live your best life every day. Have as much love with your spouse as you actually can. Eat what you're going to eat. Take your medicine. Take your precautions. Everybody should be doing them. And it's just where it is. You're not promised tomorrow. But if you're super young, like some of these ladies are, those are the ones that really need to make a plan, not us. I hate to say it. Anybody coming here already cut half their life in half just by the pollution and being able to get to a medical facility. We all know what the downs are about coming here. You could be in the middle of pumping and dumping and just pass the dump, and that's it. I'm being putting pearls out here now and a little bit of swine following
Guys,
behind it.
take your
But
maintenance, please.
hold on, they ain't got nothing left. But I'm addressing the young Filipinas that are marrying these older guys and having kids and everything and thinking it's a forever and that's their plan. I get it and all the planning and everything, but it's no way to live
Young
because not
Filipinas, make sure they take their
maintenance meds, right?
maintenance, please, if you want them to stay alive. Anyway,
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you really want to sit there and think about it, Jen is a exception, not an example, or she's both. In other words, not all of them turn out like that. Look at the guy that old dog just interviewed that has been left totally behind and she's pregnant.
okay.
Not everybody's going to turn up gold like Jen did. And this is still a level gold. To me, I think the fact she's got to go live with her sister and the fact that she's only getting a partial check for her son and that it's still for Filipino standard it's okay, but in the United States it would still be a standard of just living on welfare forever, and we're talking about little food stamps and living in the housing authority. But here it'll help her go a little further, and we get it, she could get a job and do all these things, but right now her life is at this level, and we know that she loves her son and everything, but not all Filipinas end up like that. So even if
Yeah.
one Filipina understands that this can happen to them too, but they may be left with nothing,
Now, just real quick, it is part of the subject, and a lot of people are talking negative stuff behind like emails and stuff like that or comments. But just real quick, about the maintenance thing. Okay. Now, a lot of you may agree or disagree with me. Okay. I personally don't know Mark. I really don't. But
yeah, we said that someone's like, you guys
there's
don't even know him.
certain
No, you're right.
behaviors and mannerisms that I do pay attention to. And like for example, when they said he's organized. Oh yeah, I can see that. Literally, I can.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, I've dealt with enough people to basically, yeah, I can tell you're that kind of person, kind of deal.
right.
So yeah, I can tell he's a very organized, very meticulous person. Now, there's nothing that Jen can do or not do to make Mark to take or not to take his maintenance pills. Jen could hold her breath blue in the face and say, take those pills. And it's really in the end, Mark's going to say, nah, I'm okay. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that there's nothing that Jen can do that will force Mark to do something that he doesn't want to do. That's what I'm getting at. So in the end, Mark is responsible for him not taking his maintenance meds. Okay, guys? Because there are some people out there that are saying certain things. So Mark is one of those gentlemen that
That'd be
again
nice, man.
is hyper organized very meticulous, set in their ways, and you cannot make these people budge.
Yeah, so him not
And
doing
I'm pretty sure
medication
everybody
or
know these type of people. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm not saying that's wrong
well, it's
either.
like me and the sugar. I eat more sugar than I do meat or fast food or anything else. I would live off of sugar 24/7 if you let me, like a kid, or eat cereal for dinner.
Well,
You're not going to
yeah.
change that.
For example, I can't make Heidi stop eating sugar,
And
no
I
matter
can't
what I
make
do.
George take his vitamins. I have all kinds of vitamins set out for George and have the potassium and this other Japanese natto drug that helps with health and heart. And if I set it up in his little container for his meds and separate for his vitamins, I can't force him. I've asked him over and over and over again to take it. It's kind of that situation for sure.
Okay, and also this is also keep in mind. Okay, now Greg says organize. He had no emergency fund for his family. Does everyone here now? Organize does not mean that you have your crap together. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Organization, that kind of
I'm
deal,
curious why they would want her marriage
in
certificate at
having
the
the
hospital.
finances and everything set aside and ready are two different things. It's kind of like me. Can I clean? Oh yeah, I can clean. You can make. Oh my gosh, I can't speak of a better cleaner than I am. However, you cannot make me organize worth crap. Again,
First,
two different things. Same thing with organization and getting your crap together. Two
okay,
different
hold
things.
up. I'm going to address this one here. Go ahead and put that up there real quick because I'm going to address him. American man, Filipino wife. Why are you even talking about this? It's obvious you don't know anything about it. Or let me ask you to give you a chance, being you're still in the room. Are you addressing me or are you addressing other people? And know about what? Because I know possibly why you're addressing this today. And I can definitely address you right now. So can you please elaborate?
No, I'm laughing at something else.
Hold on. Probably not. Probably drunk.
Mr. Bill, that shows you my age.
From
Oh,
90210.
George looks young enough to be a night. Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, you know what? Maybe we
Most of
oughta,
them are dead.
maybe we should
I
do
guess I'm
that.
next.
You know we have a major age gap. You know we have that major
Oh my
age gap
gosh.
relationship. Next on antics, the age gap relationship. Now it's time to bring in Ricky for sure. We didn't want to address the YouTube widow and actually be able to dress you up as Ricky today. So let's see.
No.
Yeah, he says he is talking about us. So you're only addressing this because you're a man that's up there in age like Mark and you got your Filipina pregnant and you're running a YouTube channel. So next. Okay. So that's the last thing you'll say on our channel, not because you came in and said, what do you mean we can't? Experience from what? You need to go sit down somewhere also. Okay. You definitely need to go sit down somewhere. I've seen your channel. Next.
Gentleman X says, "Do you two miss Mexico?" I kind of do,
Mm-hmm.
but not for because it has something to do with Philippines. It's one of those places that we had a really good time. You know.
American man's just sitting there getting all squirreled up and stuff because it applies to you. And that's exactly what's going to happen to your son, and your wife needs to make full plans. So, do know what I'm talking about.
Thora says, "When I die, I have my man already situated." There you go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you so much. Hi, Thora. Bye, Thora.
Hi and bye, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye, Bruce, and bye, Sarah. Thank you so much. Bye, Harry Walsh. Thank you, guys. Geechee, of course, was with us today. Tony. Hey, Tony. Gentleman X, thank you so much. Appreciate your support. Bobby G, thank you too. Joe Shabatoni, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, guys. We love you all. Bye, guys.
Oh, that's right. So, all right, guys, we'll
Bye,
talk to you
Gucci.
later.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.